This is ABC Sports, home of the Bowl Championship Series and the National Championship Game. The piece of the land lost to a big old 18-wheeler rolling down the road. A fella named Dayne is coming. A fella named Dayne to cause some pain. A big fella named Dayne, that big old 18-wheeler wants to break our heart and take our gold. That big fella named Dayne. He's coming to cause us pain. But then on the other hand, this wicket has always been a bit sticky. The women and children have refused evacuation. They'll stand by their warriors as the undefeated Wisconsin Badgers come to Iowa for the annual ruckus with the Hawkeyes, a place where the Badgers have not won since 1974. The Big Ten standings as of the moment: Wisconsin off to its first 7-0 start since 1912. Ohio State is winning big against Northwestern in the fourth quarter. Michigan has defeated Indiana. Those standings are up to date. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the University of Iowa. The taste of autumn is vivid in the heartland on this October afternoon as we turn to our friend Bob Greasy and talk about these big burly bullies from Wisconsin. Who are they?
I like your prop here, Haas. Well, we know how good Ron Dayne is, but we don't know about Wisconsin. They have not played a team with a winning record this year. Barry Alvarez says we'll find out. He also says we're blue collar, we're not Madison Avenue.
Outside of innings from Buffalo, how does Iowa play them?
Well, history is on their side. They've only lost in this series one time in the last 19 games. Hayden is very good at deflating the tires of teams that are on the way to a championship.
The coach is an interesting matchup. Of course, Barry Alvarez was on the staff here at the University of Iowa for a long time. In his 9th season at Wisconsin, he's done very well. Hayden Fry, venerable, his 20th season at Iowa.
Welcome to New York. I'm John Saunders. Out to your game in just a moment, but first some things to update. A couple of scores, beginning with #1 Ohio State against Northwestern. This one actually was tougher than the score indicated. 36-10 is the score right now. David Boston has a touchdown reception, tying Chris Carter's school record for touchdown receptions at 27. And Missouri against Nebraska, well, they led throughout much of this game, perhaps trying to knock them off. But not this time around. 20-13 is the final. Nebraska gets a late touchdown. Monte Cristo with 2 touchdown runs. The big news of the day, Terry Bowden resigned last night as head coach at Auburn. 1-5 this year, but he won 47 games over 5.5 seasons. Said he felt he was being pushed out, although Auburn denies that.
Well, you know, I'm a coach's son, and I'll tell you what, you stick with it no matter how tough it gets. If he wasn't pushed, this is very strange. He won 78% of his games. If this is all there is to the story, shame on the people of Auburn, because Terry Bowden's a good coach, a good coaching family. Doesn't make sense to me.
If there's not more to this, this is a big mistake. We'll talk that and more at halftime.
Thank you, John. You know, football doesn't change. It's always about talent, hard work, discipline, and attitude. And last Thursday, head coach Hayden Fry was putting the finishing touches on his team's attitude.
We got a wonderful opportunity to keep something going real good here since 1974. Man, that's a long time. There have been a lot of football teams not as good as this football team that have won. You've got that challenge this weekend. They're going to be ready to come in here and blow us out of the tub if they can. Make a commitment to yourself tonight when you visualize making those big plays that we're going to win. It's going to be a fun game, no pressure on you. You can come out here and have fun. Nobody expects you to do it except you. That's what it's going to take.
Hayden Fry sounding like a father talking to his attentive children. Keith, he has always found a way, and I think that bag of tricks has grown over the years.
I don't think there's any question about it. He needs a 2-horse wagon to haul it down. But he'll need some tricks to survive this afternoon, because I think he's in against a pretty good football team in these Wisconsin Badgers. Iowa will kick off. The Badgers will receive it. And there's the man that runs the ship. He stands at the helm for Wisconsin. He's in his 9th season. He spent time here, a good long time, first at Mason City High School and then with Hayden Fry on his staff here at the university. Nick Davis, number 22, and Eddie Faulkner are the deep people for the white-clad Wisconsin Badgers. The Bumblebees have come. You can see the black and gold colors filling Niall Kinnick Stadium on the campus of the University of Iowa. Very comfortable afternoon, and let's play some football. The kick will carry well to the middle of the end zone and no return as Nick Davis, a freshman, handles it. And the Chili starting lineup now for the Wisconsin Badgers. The front very big, mobile enough. Tackles, McIntosh 6'7", 311, Gibson 6'7", 370. These are big uglies. Wide receivers, all new. Not as flashy as times past, but getting better. 88, Chris Chambers, better every week. The backs, Ron Dayne, that 18-wheeler at tailback, you know about him. But number 10, Mike Samuel, the tough guy at quarterback, just continues to make the plays when they have to have them.
Making his 34th start, Keith. Fifth-year senior, Samuel.
So the Badgers come with a couple of wide receivers well spread, and Samuel rolls it out, dumps it off, goes to the fullback, and Cecil Martin is taken down by Joe Slattery on a good knee-high tackle. The defense for Iowa, the front is not bad, led by tackle Jared DeVries, a senior and two-time All-American. He started all 43 games. It's a 3-4 set for the Hawkeyes. Linebackers, number 37, Matt Hughes, a good one, four-year letterman, 314 career tackles. Roger Myers, a redshirt freshman. The DBs, this group may have lost the Indiana game. They must close quickly today to help bring down big old Ron Dayne, because if he gets into the secondary or gets past the linebackers, look out. You've got to get help out of that secondary some today. Ron Dayne at 5'10", and they list him at 258, and I think, Bob, that sort of depends on what he had for breakfast.
Well, it does. He's down from what he's weighed in the past. He's averaging 139 yards on the ground per game. That leads the Big Ten.
He had 190 last week. He did not play in the opening game of the season. It is third down and 1. He had a sprained ankle and is just now really getting over it. And no mystery about where they're going to go with it. He sticks his head down and bangs his way, maybe enough, because there was a lot of help getting him down, and Matt Bowen came up out of the secondary to help on the tackle, and the ball is going to be put down right at the 30, and if that's the case, it will be a first down.
Dayne is a third-year junior. He started as a true freshman, and here's what he's done in those 3 years. 4,400 yards total, 45 touchdowns, and he's been a workhorse. He's carried the ball a lot.
But he hasn't done it against this team. Iowa has handled it in successive years. Of course, he was hurt on the opening drive last year.
Yeah, that's true.
First down for the Badgers. Penalty flag. The pass is caught and then dropped. It'll be an incomplete pass, but there's a penalty flag waiting. The referee spotted it instantly. His flag came first and then two others. So it's illegal procedure, a motion by Wisconsin. If the Badgers help the Hawkeyes a little bit here and there, Iowa's going to give them a ball game. I don't think there's any question about it.
Well, as we mentioned in the opening, the Hawkeyes know the history. Hayden Fry was very much concerned about letting these young men know what has happened over the last 19 times these two teams have played. The series is 17-1-1. Wisconsin has only won one in the last 19 years, and that game was last year.
Steve Newman is the man in the white hat for the officials, the referee. It is first down and 15 now for the Badgers back on their 25-yard line. Samuel gives to Dayne over the left side to the 30, picks up 5 on the carry. Aaron Klein brought him down. How do you play Wisconsin defensively? Well, how about this two-time All-American Jared DeVries? He says this.
We're going to try to get penetration. I think that's the whole key to a power running team, is get penetration, get them going east and west. And, you know, if you try sitting at the line of scrimmage, you know, a power football team is going to mow you down the field all day long. But if, you know, we use our speed and our quickness to get penetration, I think that's the key.
There's going to be a special battle go on all day. It might even verge on absolute war between Jared DeVries, number 94, and Aaron Gibson, number 79. Gibson is the 6'7", 370-pounder playing at right tackle.
Two All-Americans lined up across from each other. Here they are right here. 94 is DeVries, 79 is Gibson. The play goes away. But that'll be a battle between two All-Americans that are real competitors or that know each other. DeVries said yesterday, yeah, I met him a couple of times. He's a nice guy. Says it's tough to play against a guy you kind of like.
3rd down and 8 now for the Badgers from their own 32-yard line. Samuel getting pressure, gets his pass away, and it is intended for Ron Dayne out of the backfield. But Jared DeVries puts Mike Samuel down as Kramer and DeVries both got loose and were charging downhill at the quarterback.
It's a screen, but DeVries right here is going to pressure Samuel where he will not be able to complete the screen pass.
Kevin Stempke is in to punt now for Wisconsin. Khalil Hill, son of J.D., is the man that Iowa would like to have return it. It's a fine punt by Stempke. And it is taken by Tariq Holman. And Holman weaving around in traffic and almost popped out of there. He almost got loose, but they get him down at the 30-yard line. Tim Rosga is the man who makes the tackle. So it's a 47-yard punt and a 9-yard return. No score in the first quarter of play. The Iowa Hawkeyes will now come to the attack. Their first possession of the ball game. And they will begin at their own 30-yard line. And they come up with a double tight end alignment, a single wideout. You see one tight end standing up and going in motion now. That's Flemister. And they run it with Beck. And he will lose as he runs right into Tom Burke. And Burke ate him up. The Chile starting lineup for the Iowa offense along the front. The Hawkeyes need this group to step up. They've got to stay on the field as long as possible to help their defense against Wisconsin. Wide receivers today, the wideouts have to make some plays. They simply have to make some plays because Reiner's quarterback is not going to have time to stand around and pick and choose. Reiner's second quarterback start since the first game when he was injured. Liddell Betts had his biggest game ever last week against Indiana. The pass is on its way. It is caught. Now that's making a play by Barno. They rule it off. Say, no, he didn't have it. Bashir Yamini is a track man that's got great speed, but he's just now beginning to learn the game of football. Wisconsin defensively up front. The Badger defense is tough and perhaps better than you know. And Burke, we just saw, number 74 is a horse. He has 19 tackles for a loss. Linebackers are very steady. They fly to the ball. They're almost maniacal at times. They lead the nation in run defense. And the cornerbacks are freshmen with a big deal. Those freshman cornerbacks, 3 of them have 7 interceptions. On 3rd and long, Reiner's in trouble. And down he goes. It's Burke again. Tom Burke, number 74, 6'4", 249, senior out of Poplar, Wisconsin.
That's 2 out of 3 plays that Tom Burke, number 74, has tackles behind the line of scrimmage. Barry Alvarez says this is the best defense by far in my 9 years here at Wisconsin. And Burke records his 12th sack of the year.
Jason Baker in to do the punting. No pressure on him. The kick is away. Gets it to turnover. Pretty good kick. Running Nick Davis back. Gets back to the 27. Got away from 1. Got away from 2. Got away from 3. And finally taken down up at the 43-yard line. So Nick Davis, a freshman, who's pretty exciting stuff. Gets a good return on it, and the Wisconsin Badgers have good field position out near their own 43-yard line. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by the new Silverado, the truck from Chevrolet, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks. Burger King, if you ask us, it just tastes better. National Car Rental. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. And Nasonex. They call them the bumblebees as they come in their black and gold, and they come at all ages, and they come with enthusiasm.
Yeah.
They support
That's great.
these Hawkeyes. Ball is on the 43-yard line. Which first down for Wisconsin now. Samuel sets him up with Dayne deep. Chambers goes in motion. Ball goes to Ron Dayne. Cuts it up the middle. Yardage after contact. Very important with this guy. We go now to John Saunders, New York.
Steve, in the Burger King update, UCLA against Cal. Cade McNown gets sacked by Jacob Wasdorp. A fumble on the play. It's recovered by Cal. Salim Muhammad takes it in from 2 yards out. UCLA had lost 1 fumble all season long. They then fumbled the kickoff. 2 in the game, Keith.
Wow.
Cal is one of the surprise teams of the year, Keith.
Yep, they're pretty good.
They only they lost to Nebraska, didn't they, the first game of the year?
Played them tough there.
Yeah.
And Samuel got away. Well, they come back and they get him.
Yeah, they give you one chance, Mike. You got away from one of them. You got to get rid of the football. Avoid the sack. DeVries is relentless. He comes after you one time and gets after him again. Here's the matchup. Gibson and DeVries. Jared said yesterday, he says, I'm just going to try and use my speed. This is not Gibson's fault. This ball should have been released. This should not have been a sack on Gibson.
Sadat was the man that had a hold of him initially and stayed after him and pursued him and then ran him back into DeVries. And there's a loss on the play of about 2. 3rd down and 12.
He
We're
got
in the
that.
first quarter and no score.
Yeah, he just perseverance made that play right there.
They go to the shotgun. They've got 3 wide outs, and Mike Samuel called timeout.
I think the 25-second clock was down to 1.
Timeout. Timeout. Wisconsin.
So we continue. No score in Iowa City.
Next Saturday, #1 Ohio State battles Indiana, or Texas faces Nebraska, plus other regional action.
The ball is just outside the 40-yard line, where it is 3rd down and 12 for the Wisconsin Badgers. Crowd coming up now, trying to help the home team defense. Samuel back in the shotgun, raises the foot, snap is low, handles it all right, pulls it down, takes off, caught behind the line of scrimmage by Jared DeVries. The man is everywhere, indefatigable, and so it'll bring up 4th down, and they'll have to punt.
And this was a quarterback draw. The linemen, after they got their initial blocks, were going downfield, blocking on the linebackers. This will be scored as a sack, but probably shouldn't be.
In to punt, Kevin Stemke had a beauty a while ago. He's got another one. This kid's a good kicker. Holman goes back, calls fair catch. He's back inside the 10-yard line. In practice this week, Hayden Fry kept making over and over this point to his quarterback, Randy Reiners.
Hey, Randy. Randy, you can get a couple more yards on your drop. You threw that in about 5.5, 6. And those guys hold their hands up as good as any team I've ever seen. So get your depth. You got plenty of time. Get back here. Be sure you get your depth. If anything, if you can get a little deeper, because you're tall, but Randy's so short. And if he sets up at 6 yards and he's supposed to be setting up from 8 to 10, he's in trouble because they're going to have their hands up.
What Hayden is talking about is the Wisconsin defensive line has knocked down 13 passes in the first 7 ball games, and he wants them to get their depth in the pocket.
Give the ball to Betts, and the freshman running back comes up to the 9-yard line. This possession starting just outside the 7, so there's a yard or so on that carry. Betts went for 151 yards last week against Indiana. And believe it or not, that is the biggest one-game total ever for a freshman running back at the University of, for any running back, I guess, at the University of Iowa.
There've been some, yeah, there've been some pretty good ones going through here. Tavian Banks, Cedric Shaw, to mention the latest 2.
There's one big old one right down the hall named Podolak.
Yeah.
2nd down and 8. Miners throwing. And it is overthrown. Khalil Hill went down and stopped. And not only did the defender catch up with him, but the ball went over his head. Jamar Fletcher, one of those redshirt freshman cornerbacks, was covering on the play, number 2.
Well, pretty good protection this time. He just kind of overthrew that one, Reiners did.
That Fletcher for Wisconsin has 4 interceptions so far this season.
And 2 of them he took back for touchdowns.
He did. One of them beat Purdue, wasn't it?
Don't tell me that, Hoss. Ruined my day now.
Uh-oh. I'm sorry. 3rd down and 8. This is Betts looking for some daylight. There isn't any. On the 5-yard line.
Well, this defense is really setting the tone for the Wisconsin team, especially on the road. You know, the offense and that big offensive line of the Badgers and Dayne get all the publicity. But that defense this year leads the nation in run defense. And Hayden said yesterday, well, we're going to try to run some. We got trying. Not much there.
Jason Baker punting from deep in his end zone, 47 yards on his first one. There's some pressure this time, but it's a pretty good kick. Carries across midfield. Nick Davis, 45, looking for some help. Crosses to the Iowa side. And so Wisconsin will have the ball. First down on the Hawkeyes' 48-yard line, a 49-yard punt, and 8-yard return. Tomorrow live at 3 Eastern on ABC Sports, MLS Cup 98 out of Pasadena, California. Major League Soccer season ending with two-time defending champion DC United facing off against the Chicago Fire at the Rose Bowl. Final moments of the season tomorrow here on ABC. Put it at the 47 of Iowa, and now Wisconsin with field position.
Great field position.
Ron Dayne has the ball. Picks up 4 on the carry. Here's Swanee.
Well, Keith, I want to tell everyone about the 5 ways in which you stop big Ron Dayne. Number 1, in the backfield before he gets ahead of steam. Number 2, at the line of scrimmage while he's looking for a seam and he doesn't have that forward motion. Number 3, around the ankles. Just collapse that big building and make him fall down. Number 4, grab any limb and wait for help. And number 5, make sure if he's 5 yards downfield, you go to tackle him, your insurance policy is paid up, Pete.
You forgot landmine.
Yeah. Or a hammer.
Second down and 5. It's Samuel, the quarterback, keeping on the option, cutting into the open, and down inside the 20-yard line, just short of the 15. Finally brought down by Tariq Coleman.
This is something that they're running a little bit more this year. Barry was telling me that in the offseason they decided, well, we're going to do what Mike Samuel does best, and that we're going to run the ball more from the quarterback position. They went back to Nebraska, and Barry talked to his old friend Frank Solich, the head coach now, just about some ideas on how to use the quarterback. Barry said that it's helped a lot with Samuel, and he likes to run the ball. He hardly ever pitches it on the option.
26 yards on that play. Eddie Faulkner in it, tailback. He gets the ball, cuts it back into the middle, picks up a couple of yards. Faulkner is a sophomore out of Muncie, Indiana, 198-pounder. And now Dayne, having had a drink of water and a bit of a breath, comes back.
Barry was a linebacker. He's there on the right at Nebraska at the same time that Frank Solich, who is now the head coach of the Cornhuskers, was in the backfield. So, good friend.
Second down and 7 now for the Badgers. The ball is on the 13-yard line of Iowa. No score first quarter. 5:10 left to go in the quarter. It's Dayne picking his way in traffic. And he's got very good feet for a big man. He's just patient and so strong.
Wisconsin is very good once they get inside the opponent's 20-yard line.
98% is that?
Yeah, you figure out the percentage. 27 out of 28 with 22 touchdowns.
Third down and 3 now as the ball sits on the Iowa, just inside the Iowa 9-yard line. No score as yet, but I think that's about to change. Samuel down the line, keeps it. And we'll get down to about the 5 before Ryan Lofton comes over to get him. Gets his feet from under him. Lofton, number 48.
Option. They like to run the option when they get inside the opponent's 10-15-yard line. And as I said, more often than not, teams will take away Dayne, take away the pitch. And Samuel has ended up running a lot of those option plays.
It is first and goal on the 5-yard line.
It's not bad thinking, Keith. I think I'd take Dayne away also if I could.
Sixth play of this possession. The big play, of course, was the quarterback option run of 26 yards by Samuel. Mike is out of Philadelphia. 218 pounds. That's big old Jared DeVries right there. Two-time All-American. He could have come out. He could have gone pro. But he decided when he had said he was going to come here and play 4 years of football, so he was doing what he said he was going to do. And besides, there's a young lady named Jamie that had something to do with that, I think.
You mean they're getting married in the spring, I think, are they not?
I think so, yeah.
Keith and Bob, just in case you're wondering why they're standing around the field, there's 4:22 on the clock. The official wanted to change to 4:25. He just got it changed, so there's 4:25 in the first quarter. Now we're back ready to play, Keith.
No, he didn't do all that for 3 seconds.
Yes, he did.
Took 2 minutes to get the 3 seconds back on the clock.
All right, first and goal for the Badgers. Martin goes in motion. Dayne gets the ball. And he's going to get about 3 yards. Aaron Klein, number 90, who's hunkered down in the middle there at nose guard, out of Appleton, Wisconsin, believe it or not, 280-pound senior.
He is from Appleton, Wisconsin, Keith. He's the nose guard, and he is from Wisconsin, and he was not recruited by the Badgers. And Hayden Fry was telling us yesterday is that, you know, he always has something special when it comes to playing against Wisconsin. He feels like maybe he got overlooked. He always plays well against the Badgers.
Second down and goal from the 2. Dayne again. And that's a touchdown. You know, he takes all the mystery out of it. You know that he's going to score. So it's just a matter of how many carries it takes when he's down inside that 5-yard line. So some of the drama is gone. And especially when you got that big horse in front of you.
Well, and he lined up this time, Keith. He lines up at tight end that time. So he's running that play behind 2 big tackles over there on the right side.
McIntosh 311 and Gibson 370. And the kick is good by Matt Davenport. 7 plays, 47 yards, all the plays on the ground, and Wisconsin leads it 7-0. Things proceeding pretty much as scheduled for Mr. Alvarez. Aaron Gibson, who occupies a lot of, he's not just, you don't talk about space with him, you talk about acreage.
Well, you don't expect a man that big to have such good movement. And he has very good feet. He's light on his feet, almost like a dancing bear. He just moves. He's the size of a small bear, and he can move.
Small bear? That's Arctic Circle size. That's in the end zone. Uh-oh, now you got to go. Matt Stockdale was dancing over there in the corner, and once he realized he had the ball and was in the end zone, he hesitated for a moment, and he did not get back to the 20.
One of the things that the Badgers like to do is move that big tackle, Gibson, out to the offensive tight end position, and another tackle lined up right next to him. As you mentioned, Keith, almost 700 pounds of offensive lineman behind Dayne, who weighs about 260. And that's what they did on the touchdown to score that first play.
That's like taking a sack of bricks to the dance.
It's unfair. If you're defensive, any defensive player, it's unfair. Offensively, you love it.
17-yard line. Rob Tyne is in the ball game now. That's Khalil Hill in motion, and Reiners rolls it out, passes away, too high, overthrown, intended for Bashir Yamini.
Here's Gibson right here. He's number 79. Now, he normally plays the tackle position right next to him, but he slid to the outside, and another tackle, 310 pounds, came in right next to him. And that's the way they do it. And you just maul them and just push the pile, and you have a big back and like Dayne in the backfield that is patient and finds the crack and just makes that's easy picking there.
Iowa has run 7 plays so far in the ball game, and only one of those plays has gained any yardage. This one has a chance if he catch it, but Hill can't reel it in, and it falls away incomplete.
Somebody's got to make a play here now for the Hawkeyes. Reiners has been a little bit off on his throws. He's overthrown a couple, and one was dropped, and that one was good enough to be caught. Khalil Hill's got to make a play. Instead of one-handing it, you should. He was on his route, and he should have come to the ball instead of continuing on his route.
It's 3rd and 10. Khalil, of course, is the son of J.D. Hill. They had both great years in the NFL. Back goes. That's a deep drop by Reiners. And now he got away from that first rush and takes off. And dives for what he hopes is a first down marker, but I think he's going to be almost a yard short.
Yeah, I think he's going to be short. Reiners likes to scramble, moves around quite well. But again, pressure from the left side. That's the true freshman Bryant, 77, that went flying by him. And Randy's had a problem this year with injuries. He's had a knee, he's had some ribs, a sternum, and I don't know if they're going to make this or not, Pete. I initially thought he was short, and he is now. He is short.
Well, Bob, I'm down in the end zone now. I was watching him run, and Randy obviously feels the effect of that knee. You could just tell there was no way he was going to make it to the sideline, Bob.
Yeah.
There was no way he had the speed. So instead of a sprint, it almost looked like a canter as he moved down the field trying to pick a spot where he was going to take on that defensive back and get the extra yard. But he just does not have the speed with that back leg to sprint to the sideline and outrun this Wisconsin defense.
One would get the feeling they are going for it if Reiners is still out there and bring in another tight end.
If Hayden Fry wasn't on the sideline, I would think that they were nuts. But there may be something up his sleeve here.
They need about a foot. Well, he'll probably get up there and do a long count at least. I'll try to get him to jump. But Wisconsin's not buying it. Now he'll call timeout and he'll go punt.
Now, Barry Alvarez spent 8 years as an assistant coach on the staff with Hayden Fry, so he knows about Hayden.
2:44 to play in the first quarter.
Jimmy, we got TV.
It's 4th down and still a foot. They tried to change the cadence and tried to tease Wisconsin into jumping offside, but the Badgers didn't buy it. And now here comes the punt team with Jason Baker trotting on. It'll be his 3rd of the day. His first 2 punts were 49, and that's Nick Davis going back to receive it for Wisconsin. Got spin on it. And a fair catch is called by Davis, which gives them good field position. Now let's take a look at this week's Marriott moment. Last year, Iowa went to Wisconsin, and the Badgers' prime weapon, Ron Dayne, was hurt in the opening drive, yet Iowa couldn't cash in. They failed to convert on 4th down 3 times, and the Badgers beat Iowa for the first time since 1974, 13-10. Barry Alvarez, the first Hayden Fry assistant coach to beat him.
Okay, partner, I got a follow-up to that. Who was the second?
McCarney, Don McCarney at Iowa State.
Dan McCarney.
Dan McCarney.
You got half of it right, but that's not. Sorry, you don't get the prize.
Oh, This is Dayne carrying again as they start this possession from the 38-yard line. There's Slender Barry when he was on Hayden's staff from 79 to 86.
It's that above Barry's mouth there, his upper lip there.
Oh, you got a mustache?
Got a mustache, yeah.
You know. He went over to Notre Dame, worked under Lou Holtz for a while too, and he came away from that feeling that Holtz peppered his coaching vernacular considerably too in his thinking and philosophy.
Well, he was under Nebraska under Dayne as a player, and so he's been around and had some pretty good head coaches to learn from.
Play action, dump the ball off underneath to the tight end Grams, and Grams is a big one too. He's 258-pounder, 6'4", out of Fond du Lac. And he's not quite to the first down marker.
Well, we talked about the Badgers' defense and how good their special teams are. Look at their offense. And this is year after year under Barry Alvarez. They always are leading the conference in time of possession, second in scoring and rushing. They're doing all right, pretty good. This is a smash mouth type of offense. Barry Alvarez says, we know who we are. It's just what I am. and that's what we do best. We're a physical, stop the run on defense, run the ball on offense, and ball security. And they've done that very well this year also.
They're a foot short of the first down. Shane Gang had to come all the way across the field. That touchdown scored by Ron Dayne a little while ago to give Wisconsin the 7-0 lead in the first quarter was his 46th career touchdown. That ties him with Billy Merrick for the Wisconsin career leader. So the next time he scores, he becomes the career touchdown leader in Wisconsin football history. And there have been some pretty good running backs go through Madison, Wisconsin over the years, too.
That's true. You know, how does a kid from New Jersey get all the way out to Wisconsin? Barry Alvarez said, you can play tailback. Everybody else wanted him to play fullback. Barry says, come on out. We'll let you play tailback. He said, I don't want to do that blocking those fullbacks do today. That's for somebody else. I'll run that pill. Martin started falling a little soon, but he got away with it. And Dayne takes it for the first down on the Iowa 48-yard line, and here's John.
Well, Keith, the UCLA Bruins may have stumbled out of the gate, but boy, have they recovered. Cade McNown, for the second time in the game, hooks up with Brian Paulie Dixon. This one, 35 yards. Remember, Paulie Dixon dropped one last week against Oregon. They now have a 14-7 lead. Keith.
And Paulie Dixon's a good pass receiver.
Hey, that whole thing with UCLA, they've lost a lot of players from last year's team. Cade is playing very well, and Toledo, what a great job he's doing.
51 years old, and suddenly he was discovered, huh? That play's held up. That side of the defensive line just refused to budge on it, so they've shoved Gibson back into the traffic, and it's good for a yard.
First 3 games of the year, Rod Dayne was nicked with a ankle injury and then had a little shoulder bruise. In the last 3 games, he's kind of turned it on.
Second down and 9. 7-0 as we come toward the end of the first quarter. Samuels roll it out, and now throws. And it is complete down about the 30, down to the 28-yard line to Ahmad Merritt. He was very close to getting past the line of scrimmage, but he cleared it just in time. So moved the chains, and the clock stops with 25 seconds remaining in the quarter.
Aaron Gibson, the big tackle we've been watching right here now. He normally lines up over here, but he lines up on this side as a tight end. Watch, he's going to seal that side. The quarterback is going to roll out and have a big gaping hole in which to step up and throw the football. You know, everywhere he goes, there is a huge hole.
They thought they had it. They thought they had it. And eventually they did, 6 yards later. And the quarter is over. So Wisconsin dominates the first quarter of play as the boys do a little paint swapping in the trenches and lead in by a score of 7-0.
In football, when a player possesses the ball and his knee touches the ground, the play is usually blown dead. In this play, the holder is excused from the rule. Legal play.
Rules of the Game has been brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This is ABC Sports, home of the Bowl Championship Series.
We rumble into the second quarter of play at Niall Kinnick Stadium, University of Iowa. Very comfortable autumn day. Some overcast. It only makes it more comfortable, actually. 7-0 Badgers leading, and it's been the Ron Dayne show so far, which is about what we expected. But not to discount the effort of the Wisconsin defensive group at all, because they have been dominant.
They have.
All right, for the Badgers, it is 2nd down and 6. Give it. Flag down from the linesman across the way, and it must have been a dead ball foul, because I don't think there's any play involved here. Somebody probably moving too soon.
Prior to the snap,
Ball start on the offense.
Bobbing up and down again.
Penalty remains second down.
So back them up 5 yards and make it second down and 11. And the crowd is very, very quiet. Jared DeVries says this about playing against Ron Dayne.
He's popped some runs on us, but for the most part, we've gotten him before he's got started, and that's the whole key to success with him.
Actually, they kept him to the short stuff today. It was Mike Samuel that broke the big run, the 26-yarder in that touchdown goal.
That last run 2 times ago, it was just amazing how low he got and how much how good he had his feet, kept his feet going.
Up the middle goes the quarterback. And gets down to about the 25-yard line, and they'll take him down. Matt Hughes, who has been a 4-year starter here at the University of Iowa, make at least a 4-year letterman making the tackle. Matt is the career leader, I think, at his position in tackle.
All right, the numbers of the first quarter, it's all Wisconsin. Look at the time of possession at the bottom and the numbers there. But look at Iowa. All those numbers over there are a testament to the defense of the University of Wisconsin. Iowa's had the ball 3 times. All 3 times it was 3 and out, and every time they had to punt.
Now we go back to 3rd and 6. Samuel drops back, and he's looking to throw to the sideline. The pass is caught. Ahmed Merritt, the defender over there in front of him, played the ball, went for the ball, and didn't get it, and Merritt held on. Swanee.
Well, Keith, I was standing right in front of it, and you would have thought Slattery was going to come in and pick this ball off. He had a great angle, but he just misses it, and it goes underneath. And the receiver, remarkable job of concentration. He gets bumped. He still comes up with a catch. That was a big play, Keith.
Gives him a first down at the 12-yard line of Iowa. So the Badgers are back knocking on the door again. Dayne, look right, look left, not much. Stick my head in there. Something might crack. If I hear it, I'll find a hole, and I'll be gone. Matt Hughes finally locked his leg.
He was locking his legs. He had a hold of him at the bottom of the pile, and that's why Dayne didn't get out of that mess.
That big old 18-wheeler. I'm telling you. Cecil Martin goes out, number 37. He's left the backfield. And oftentimes, most of the time when they do that, they go to 3 wides and a single back. Dick Davis is in with Chambers, and Dayne is the single back. Now all 3 of them come to this side. They give the ball to Dayne. There's penetration. Number 2 comes out of the backfield, Tarek Holman, and makes the tackle, wrapping his legs as a penalty flag shows up on the sidelines, and that could mean several things. It's against Wisconsin. I wondered for a moment as Holman got in there so quickly if he might have left a little soon, but no, the penalty is against the Badgers.
Military signal, illegal shift by the Badgers.
Illegal shift on the offense. Penalties refused. 3rd down.
When this receiver goes in motion across the formation, the cornerback doesn't go with him. In fact, he comes up right on the line of scrimmage and blitzes from the outside. Holman did this a couple of series ago and missed the tackle. This time he got into the secondary aggressively, as DeVries said, and made the play behind the line of scrimmage.
And it's 3rd and 14 on the 16-yard line for the Badgers, and Mike Samuel calls timeout.
Yeah, I don't know who
crowd suddenly gets involved.
I don't know who was more confused, whether it was Iowa defensively or Samuel.
DC United, Chicago Fire. It's MLS Cup 98, the biggest game of the year. Live Sunday at 3:30 Eastern on ABC.
The ball is resting at the 16-yard line, where it's 3rd down and 14 for the Wisconsin Badgers. They lead 7-0. Here's the final. Minnesota beat Michigan State 19-18.
Well, it's a big win for the Gophers. Look for the option here. Sometimes in this area, they don't want to put it up. They'll run an option. Chambers is in motion. And look
look at the pursuit by DeVries. He throws, and it is into the crowd. And Jared DeVries does his job.
No, they got it. What a DeVries makes a great play, and then the official's going to call a flag on, I think, hitting the quarterback late. Or maybe he's going to throw it away. Yeah.
He called a foul on the quarterback, folks. You don't hear any comment from the other side of the booth, but the quarterback committed the foul.
Well, it's kind of a naked bootleg, and DeVries says, I've seen that before. I'm a fourth-year senior. And the official, the umpire, the referee right behind him, says that's intentional grounding. That'll take him out of field goal range, Keith.
Yes, it will. And give Barry dyspepsia.
There's
intentional grounding. Lost her down. Offense. Fourth down.
That makes it fourth down. There was some talk this spring about doing what the NFL does and allowing the quarterback, when he's outside the pocket, to throw the ball away. That wasn't, they didn't pass that, but there was a lot of talk about protecting quarterbacks in college ball by letting them do what the NFL does.
29-yard penalty. And the ball is going to drop. That is, that's the sun field down there. The sun has popped out, and it is so bright when you have to look back into it. It's very, very difficult to see where the football is. Tonight at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on ABC Sports, star-studded skating spectacular, the U.S. Pro Figure Skating Classic out of San Jose, California. World and 5-time U.S. champion Todd Eldridge will be there, and so will Olympic gold medalist Ilya Kulik. 8 Eastern, 7 Central. First and 10 now for Iowa from their own 9-yard line, and they try the left side, and there's not much there as Ladell Betts gets the carry.
Well, let's take a look at Barry Alvarez. They lead this defense is the #1 rushing defense in the nation. They're second in turnover margin. They've taken it away 17 more times than they've given it up. They're the least penalized team in the league. And they lead in time of possession. And their special teams are outstanding. This is the third time in the 4 possessions that Iowa's had that they start within their own 20.
As Betts looking for some daylight, finds a little bit, not much. They have really controlled him, and he is cat quick himself.
Iowa has not made a first down yet. They have not completed a pass as of yet.
It's 7-0 Wisconsin.
And we're in the middle of the, approaching the, well, we've got 11 minutes left in the first half, so we've gone a whole quarter. And Hayden is an offensive guy. You know it's got to be eaten on him.
He got it away, and there's your first pass completion. It's out to the 20-yard line, and that's going to be good enough for a first down as Bashir Yamini caught it while in the grass of Bob Adamoff.
That's the first completion, first down from behind the quarterback. Step up in the pocket. Those tackles are having trouble with the defensive ends of Wisconsin, and Adamoff makes the play. There's Burke, 74. He's working on Sobieski. Burke is going to give him fits all day long.
They got a hand for the first down, though. That's Casper in motion. This is Betts. And Betts will get up to the 25-yard line. He ran into Jason Doring, but Betts had the momentum, dropped the shoulder, and it was he who laid the hit, not Doring.
Hayden Fry offensively normally has some outstanding teams, Keith, but this year, look at this. I mean, they're not doing very well. They're 103rd out of 112 teams in Division I in running the football. And there you see the other numbers. 8 of the 11 starters are first-year players. So he lost a tackle, and he lost a couple offensive linemen, actually.
Second down and 6. Reiners with a deep drop. Pass is on the money. The pass is completed to Khalil Hill. That's his first catch of the day. And suddenly they've got back-to-back first down.
Now is when you can do some stuff when you throw on first or second and short yardage. Little play action fake from behind the quarterback. This is a good pitch and catch right here. This will give some confidence to young Randy Reiners.
He gave that cowboy a hand, too, as they get up to the 40-yard line for their second first down of the ball game. He threw the ball, and big old 98 got right up in front of the ball and had it. Eric Malik had the ball, but, you know, what is this funny spheroid, the prolate spheroid that I'm fiddling around with here? He never could get a hold of it, but dropped it.
Defensive line, that's right, hands up. The defensive line, this is the 14th ball that the defensive line has knocked down this year. Reiners had the receiver to the wide side if he would have just dropped back and threw it out there.
He heard pounding hooves. They were coming. He's got his man. Zeron Flemister. Now they wave it off as incomplete. Maybe underthrown a fraction, but Donnell Thompson and Jason Doring were back there, and Flemister almost came up with it.
Behind the defense, this ball needs a little bit more air, Keith. If he just gets a little more air, because he had the linebacker who beat, that's Thompson, number 44. It's almost face guarding.
Yep.
Thompson's an interesting story, Keith. You know, I'll tell you two things about him, and it tells you everything. Donnell Thompson, the linebacker, is a walk-on, and he is the captain.
And he lives just around the corner from the stadium. Can't remember. Better look out, Randy. There's trouble in River City. John Favre finally tracked him down, and a big loss on the play, and Iowa will have to punt now. But they did get a couple of first downs there and got some ball movement, and the defense got a little bit of rest out of it. And Jason Baker is in the punt with Nick Davis going back to receive it for Wisconsin. 9:35 to play in the first half. No pressure. Kick is away, but it doesn't have a whole lot of carry on it, but it's a tail dragger, and so it gets a pretty good roll down to the 25-yard line, and there it'll stop, where it'll be first down for the Wisconsin Badgers, leading by a score of 7-0. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Chrysler, engineered to be great cars. Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light. State Farm Insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And the document company is Xerox. Keep the conversation going. Share the knowledge. Seven nothing, 9:27 to play. Wisconsin has the ball and the lead. They have controlled everything about this ball game so far. Ron Dayne almost got the crack that he wanted and was able to turn it on, but good recovery by the linebackers hold him to a relatively short game of 4 yards.
Actually, he's carried the ball a lot, only averaging 2.5 yards per carry. I was doing a nice job of not letting him break a big one. Look at this run. This run, that was the toughest run all day. He gained about 3 yards.
Got it again. And the Hawkeyes are really after him. They've controlled him pretty well. Coming up out of the secondary is Roger Meyer. Well, actually, he's would be a linebacker, wouldn't he? And the redshirt freshman linebacker.
Keith and Bob, you're talking about Ron Dayne and his per carry average. One of the things I'm very impressed with by the Iowa defense is the way they're engaging and then getting off blocks. What I think they're doing, which makes them successful, is they're just making sure they don't get tied up. They're filling the gap so that nobody has a lane to run through, and they're being very active on their line, Keith.
Well, if they hang in here at 7-0 and get to the clubhouse with that score, they'll actually be in pretty good shape, I think. Here's Samuel back, wants to throw. Field opens up for him, and he takes off. And he runs runs for a first down out to the 38-yard line. But if you can get in the clubhouse at halftime down by only 7-0, then you can get some serious conversation about scratching where it itches.
Yeah. Take a look from behind. Good pass protection all day long for Mike. He just steps up in the pocket. Everybody was covered. He does a nice job of staying alive and getting enough for a first down.
That's all he does.
He's a veteran.
This
is, like I said at the beginning, this is his 34th start. He's 23-10 as a starter in Wisconsin. He knows how to play.
Whistle, stop it. The referee, Steve Newman, talking to his folks, who include Ed Manning, Ed Peters, Don Thayer,
Prior to the snap, ball start on the offense.
Terry
5-yard
Anderson
penalty,
and Henry
remains
Armstead.
first down.
So it's against the Badgers. We have our Aflac question for this week, and it is this. Name the 4 former Hayden Fry assistants who are now head coaches in Division 1A college football. We'll come back in a bit and give you
If you all been paying attention, one should be a no-brainer.
But then, you know, everybody...
I got a question for you here in a minute. Coach?
Exposing my ignorance. Samuel keeping. Dayne trailing. Samuel keeps it because they had reached the sideline. There was no opportunity for him to pitch it back to Dayne because Ron had no place to go.
You're exactly right. You know, we're talking about Ron Dayne, the big back for Wisconsin. You remember Iowa used to have a big running back?
Nick Bell.
Nick Bell. All right, here's the question. That's the first part of the question. Now, the second part for the prize is, who recruited Nick Bell to Iowa? The same guy that...
I don't know, but I know the story about Montgomery.
The same guy that recruited Ron Dayne to Wisconsin got Nick Bell to come to Iowa. It was Barry Alvarez. That's exactly right.
Same stuff. Samuel gets around the corner, and he, with a little more speed, might have gone all the way, but they finally track him down and take him down. But it's a big run, second big run for the quarterback. He had a 26-yarder that ignited the first touchdown drive, and this one is good for 36 yards.
Watch the blocking on the right side. Lacrosse block. That's Martin, number 37, the fullback, doing a nice job just walling it off. And if Samuel doesn't, his battery kind of runs low right here. He just gets tired, and he says, somebody tackle me. I got the first down. Let me go back and get my breath.
Eric Thigpen did it. And the ball is now at the 27-yard line of Iowa.
Samuel's 4 out of 6 throwing the ball, and he's got over 70 yards rushing.
This is Dayne. And number 42 was laying on the ground and just reached up when those big old legs came by and grabbed him and took him down. That'll be Tarek Peterson, linebacker.
Well, Keith, we showed you the 5 ways how to tackle Ron Dayne at the start of this ball game, and the Iowa defense has just been phenomenal. I mean, what they're doing, they're getting in the gap right here. Look at them go low, trip them up, they get down. Everybody's going after them. One man even makes a tackle. Now, that's really unheard of when you're going after Ron Dayne, that one man can actually bring him down, but it's only after he's being tripped up, Keith.
Bottom line, they've kind of controlled Dayne pretty well.
He's a gamer. He just keeps on coming at you. Just keeps on coming. Joe Slattery with that tackle. And Dayne picks up a good 5 yards on the carry.
Dayne's carried the ball 19 times already for only 45 yards. So that's a little over 2 yards a carry, maybe 2.5 yards. So Iowa doing a good job of containing him.
Second down and 4 now for the Badgers. I'm sorry, third down. Third down.
Look at this here. Yards after he was initially hit coming into the ball game, he had made a tremendous amount of yardage after he, like 45% of his yards after he was hit.
throw it to the end zone. Incomplete, intended for Ahmad Merritt. He got his fingers on it.
Oh, he had him too, Keith. He had him.
Got away from Holman.
Watch to the right of your screen, the top right to the top center. If Merritt, number one, just runs a little bit more to the left, it would make it an easier throw. There is nobody in the center, deep center of the field. Would make it a much simpler throw instead of going straight up the field. Run across it a little bit to make it an easier throw.
Matt Davenport is in for a 38-yard field goal try. Davenport, 9 out of 10, with a long of 47 this year.
Nickname is Money.
And it's in the bank. Oh, money. It's 10-0. Wisconsin leads Iowa. We had our Aflac trivia question a moment ago about the 4 former assistants that had been here under Hayden Fry, gone on to become head coaches. Barry Alvarez is obvious because he's the head coach of Wisconsin. There's Bill Snyder down at Kansas State. Dan McCarney at Iowa State, whom Bob mentioned a while ago. But the one you might not run across unless you were from this neck of the woods would be Del Miller, who is the head football coach at Southwest Missouri State.
2 other coaches off of that staff are in the NFL. They're not head coaches, but they're assistant coaches. So that staff was a pretty strong staff.
They'll kick it away now. Davenport to knock it downfield, and the Hawkeyes needing something dramatic to help. Watches the ball go on through the end zone, and there'll be no return as Hill was looking at it. Sunday night live at 8:15 on ESPN. Sunday night football. Doug Flutie and the Buffalo Bills and the Carolina Panthers. And Monday night on ABC Sports at 8 Eastern Time, Pittsburgh and Kansas City from Arrowhead.
That'd be a good one. Kansas City, in Kansas City.
Cordell Stewart had a rocky start this year for the Steelers.
And the Steelers haven't been. Yeah, you got that right.
First down. Speaking of rocky starts for the Iowa Hawkeyes here against these big old Badgers. Better move around, Randy. That pass is overthrown. As Khalil Hill is not terribly active once he gets down and runs his route. He could probably, in time, is going to learn to be a little more active down at the receiving end.
Here's a look at the first 4 possessions for Iowa. Look at the right-hand side. All 4 ended in punts. The left-handed column, look where they're started on their own 7, their own 17, their 9. 3 plays and out on the first 3 drives, and then they got a drive going of 8 plays and 24 yards. But somebody's got to make a play, either Reiners or one of the receivers, because they're not going to run on this Wisconsin defense.
Second down and 10. That is not particularly a good way for a gimpy quarterback, but he gets away with it as Donnell Thompson came up and missed the real heavy shot. So it's going to be third down. You know who calls the plays here for Iowa? Would be that man right there, Hayden Fry. We talked about that yesterday.
Calling the offensive plays, that's required me to study all the defensive trends to stay on top of it in order to be able to attack it. And so it's like Bob Greasy playing quarterback. You get that gut feeling. And if you don't like what you got called, you audibilize and change it out on the field. I do that as a coach on the sideline.
But he ain't playing.
Well, he said today, too, he wanted to break some tendencies.
Reiner's picking up a first down.
Some of the tendencies, Keith, that he was talking about was the fact that Barry Alvarez was on the staff for 8 years and really knew what Hayden likes to do. And some of the things that Hayden has been calling for the last, well, not this year and last year, like a tight end lining up off the line of scrimmage, they'd always motion him across. Well, now they're going to break that and do some other things. And he knows that Barry is going to, again, be involved in their tendencies. He says he just wants to do some different things today.
So they've got their third first down of the ball game. Trailing 10-0. Give it to Odell Betts. And Betts hasn't been able to break one today. And backside pursuit got him. Otherwise, he might have had one there. He picked up about 8 yards on that carry. John Favre making the tackle for Wisconsin.
This Wisconsin defense had 8 starters returning from last year. In fact, they had 19 starters as a team returning. They only lost their 2 corners, and offensively they lost the 2 wide receivers, and everybody else is back, including the kickers. These tight ends always stand up when they come to the line of scrimmage for Iowa.
Play action. Incomplete, thrown low, intended for Yamini.
Well, that ball was just underthrown. Reiners needed to scoot up in the pocket. There's a tight end standing up. It's one of the things that Hayden started, he thinks, about maybe 20 years ago. And he thinks the tight end can see better from that position. And he says the blocks that he has to make, he calls the one block on the linebacker, he calls it an entertainment block. You just take him in or take him out, whichever way he wants to go.
Henry. 3rd down and a long 2. And again, it works. Frozen, but now there's nobody to throw it to, and Reiners takes off trying for his 1st down, and he's got it. So let's hunker down, play single wing, and get it on here, because that's about what we got going here for the last couple of minutes.
Yeah. What that was just 1 man out. It's 3rd and short. You fake the running play, and there was 1 man out, and he was covered. It was good coverage, so Reiners takes off. And he's had a tough year. He got hurt in the 1st game. He missed the next 4 starts and started last week, and he's here again today, but he's kind of banged up.
Big old lineman, 275-pound sophomore Pelogi ran him down, though. Here comes the pressure backside. He pulls it down and going to take off again. He gets right over there in the pocket of number 80 and tries to ride that horse a little bit, but Flemister by then was fully engaged, though he was able in his turn, I think, to give him enough room to get his 1st down, and you've got a penalty flag on the field. Came from
that's 1st down. It's a good time to throw, but nobody is open. They ought to let the running back play quarterback. It's the 3rd time in a row that Reiners has run the football.
It's against the Hawkeyes. But they're going to lose that play and lose that 1st down.
Reiners is sucking air, and he should. Iowa, a lot of penalties this year. Hayden was telling us yesterday that there's a possibility that he could play more than 1 quarterback. Talking about the injuries to the Reiners.
So the ball comes back to the 43-yard line after the personal foul. Iowa's 1st penalty in the ball game. Reiners back, has good protection. Ball's batted up in the air and incomplete. Tom Burke got it up in the air, and then old Tom camped under it, waiting for it to come down. He could feel that thing coming down and maybe make something out of it, but they messed it up.
Here's Burke right here, Keith. Watch as he's going to rush the passer, and then when he sees he can't get there, he jumps in the air. Now, that's just being well aware. Now, he got to work on his hands a little bit. That's the 15th ball they've batted this year.
He's a good football player.
Yeah, he is. He leads the Big Ten in tackles for losses and in sacks.
2nd down and 10. Pass is underthrown as the pressure finally got to him. And it was well underthrown by a good 6 or 7 yards. Burke again making most of the mischief here.
74 is pressuring the quarterback, gets around the tackle.
Just a gentle reminder to let him know he was passing through the neighborhood.
Oh yeah, and you know he knew he was coming too.
So it's 3rd and 10.
Here they come.
got him. Number 29, Adamoff, came from the top of your picture, the outside, and came clean to deck the quarterback.
Yeah, Adamoff, number 29, is the other captain. He's also a walk-on. Right here, he's going to blitz from this side. Wisconsin doesn't have to blitz much because they get such good rush from their defensive front four. Occasionally, though, they'll send a linebacker or a defensive back.
Baker away. And it drifts out of bounds. Looks like there might be a little wind as the ball drifts out of bounds over there. Here's John and Todd for a moment.
Coming up on Valvoline Halftime 98, we will have scores and highlights. More on Terry Bouton's decision to leave Auburn and the BCS.
At a bowl championship series, we're moving closer. The standings come out for the first time Monday. We'll explain it all at halftime.
All right, it's all coming up on Valvoline Halftime 98.
I hope you're going to explain to me how Ohio State's fourth in the Seattle computer.
If they're going to explain it all at halftime, I don't think they got enough time. all the ins and outs and everything, but you know, when you get down to it, Keith, I think it's good. It's the best we've got. It's not perfect, but it's better than we had.
We'll see. Finally, he's having a picnic back there, and DeVries said, wait a minute. And finally, Jared went on in there and got him and sacks him on the play.
DeVries was up against Aaron Gibson right there, and Gibson, 79's got a left-hand grab on his shirt. And Gibson says, hey, I've blocked long enough for him to throw that football. And DeVries says, you haven't thrown it. You look like you're waiting to be sacked. I'll accommodate you, and there I go. That's his second sack of the day.
Big old Aaron with one hand was holding this at him by the shirt, though, and just was holding him, almost picking him up off the ground.
Yeah, and, you know, DeVries has 2 sacks on the day, and both against Gibson. But to Aaron's defense, really, it shouldn't have been either one of them because the ball should have been gone.
Wisconsin has called the timeout here. So they'll talk as time is about gone in the first half. 39 seconds to play with Wisconsin leading 10-0. Here's Money.
Well, Keith and Bob, you're talking about the quarterback being back there and causing the sacks. That's because he's so comfortable because he's got Aaron Gibson back there doing a good job. But DeVries has been remarkably active. You see right there, he makes a move on the inside after Gibson thinks, well, the play's over, and he just stops blocking him. Gibson stays after him quite a bit throughout this ball game, really making him work hard, pushing him around. The question at the end of the ball game is going to be, how much stamina and endurance does DeVries have? Can he stay this active through the entire ball game when he's got 370 pounds right in front of him? Keith, Bob?
That's a good point, Lenny. It's always tougher for the defensive guy because he's got to play each play very hard, and the offensive guy knows where the play's going, and sometimes he can kind of let up on a play.
I don't think DeVries knows anything but pedal to the metal.
All out, all the time. And I think that's why he's one of the best defensive linemen in the country.
Next Saturday, college football live at 3:30 Eastern on ABC Sports. Ohio State against Indiana. Texas with Nebraska. That's in Lincoln. Washington, USC. ACC. Some druthers there. Virginia, Wake Forest, NC State, Clemson, or Georgia Tech and Maryland. Check your local listings or call your cable or satellite company if you wish.
Music was a little bit of a remembrance of America's Greatest Road Show, wasn't it? Moving around?
I believe it was,
Yeah.
Almost burned up one day in the Hidden Valley doing those promos. An old Cadillac convertible.
You look good in it, though, Hoss. You look good doing that.
99 degrees. Back goes Samuel to throw. Here comes the pressure, and Kramer got him.
Samuel didn't see him coming at all, and he came from a long way away.
Jeff Kramer from Weatherford, Texas.
He didn't even see him. He came from the left side. He faked the pass to the right side, and Kramer was coming from the left. And he said, hello there.
That makes it a 3rd down and 24, and Iowa calls a timeout, so they'd like to stuff one more play, call another timeout, and try to get something and force Wisconsin to punt. So we'll see if all that planning works out. The football is at the 27-yard line of Wisconsin. 3rd down and 24 coming up after that sack by Jeff Kramer for the Hawkeyes. Iowa defense has played quite well.
Both teams have good return people, Keith, and I think that's what Iowa's looking for. A stop here and an opportunity to run a putback.
Dayne. The plans may have gone awry
That didn't pick up a first down, but it did pick up some valuable field position where now the Badger punter can punt it deep into Iowa territory.
20 yards on the carry by Ron Dayne. He's surprisingly quick once he gets out there and gets wheeling.
He's got 4.5 speed, along with all that. He's only 5'10", Keith. We always talk about him being a big back and 260 pounds. But he's a small back, really. He's got good feet, good vision, good move. He bounces around. Only 5'10".
Yeah, but you put 260 pounds on a 5'10" frame.
Other than 260, he's a small back.
That's like running into the church stoop. That ball goes through the end zone, as you can see, and so it'll come out to the 20-yard line. And after all of that thinking and planning, it just simply didn't work because Dayne spoiled it with that 20-yard run. And then Stentke, with that big old leg of his, knocks it out of play. Yeah. And you got 7 ticks remaining on the clock.
It's the way Barry Alvarez plays football. They're not in a hurry. We're going to take our time. We're going to be time of possession. We got good defense. We got good kickers, good special teams, and that's the way we're going to play. And they force you into playing their brand of football. And it's not only against Iowa, it's the whole Big Ten. Whenever you play Wisconsin, you've got to play their game.
And they do not play Ohio State this year. That pops it. Oh, he almost squirted out of there. But that'll do it. They will go to the clubhouse with the Wisconsin Badgers leading Iowa by a score of 10-0. And it's a sellout crowd. Coming up next, the Valvoline halftime report with John Saunders and Todd Blackledge.
Valvoline halftime 98. Brought to you by Valvoline. You can always tell the guys who use Valvoline. From our New York studios, John Saunders and Todd Blackledge.
And we'll get to the scores and highlights in just a few moments. But first, the big news of the weekend. Auburn head coach Terry Bowden resigned last night. Big surprise. Despite the fact the team is 1-5, he's won 47 games there in 5.5 years. But he felt there was too much speculation, felt he was going to be pushed out, and says it wasn't fair to his players.
It became so very apparent to me that this was not a dying issue, that my continued stay at Auburn was going to be the central issue for the remainder of the year, that every week that would be the only thing discussed, and our players don't deserve it.
Absolutely, unequivocally, no decision had been made, no decision had even been considered.
That is Auburn's stance, but that is very difficult to believe. First of all, coaches do not quit the day before a game. You really get the feeling that he was pushed out there.
Yeah, and sure, they're struggling this year, and they've got lots of problems on and off the field, but the guy's won 78% of his games. The Tigers played in the SEC championship game last year. I say shame on the people at Auburn. I mean, if there were any misgivings about him being their coach, the boosters or administration, don't sign him to a 7-year contract last year. I think this is an awful situation.
And keep this in mind, Auburn has to play Bobby Bowden in Florida State, their first game of the year next year. Look for a big score in that one. The game being coached today by Bill Oliver, the defensive coordinator, to get the win over Louisiana Tech easily, 32-17. UCLA, well, they're trying to tighten up their defense, but you know they've got great offense. Cade McNown, back to pass, little pump fake, and then tosses this one 35 yards. Great catch by Brian Pauly-Dixon. They were on top 14-7 at that point. 21-9 is the score right now.
Last week, Oregon was the best defense in the Pac-10. This week, it's California, the best defense. It's not slowing Cade McNown down at this point. 21 points in the first half.
Kansas State continues just to roll along as they head towards that battle against Nebraska. Iowa State today, Michael Bishop His yardage hasn't been great passing the last couple of games, but where is the defense there? Gavin Peary's takes it in for the touchdown, 21-0 at that point, 45-zip.
Bishop just makes big plays. Only completes about 50% of his passes, but every completion goes for over 20 yards. Makes a lot of big plays.
T. Martin has a couple of touchdown runs as Tennessee has the lead over Alabama. These teams always match up. Only missed one in the last 80 years or so. Some of you are watching Wisconsin against Iowa, and Mike Samuel running a little option here. Decides to keep it, finds a hole, breaks towards the end zone, cuts back, finally is hauled down. But when you've got the big guy, you just have to say, give it to Ron Dayne and get out of the way.
Last 2 years, Iowa's defense held Ron Dayne to 87 yards and no touchdowns, but he's off to a much better start today and has already found pay dirt.
If you're Ohio State, you say, we just don't want to stumble against someone we're supposed to crush. Northwestern this time around. Joe Germain, another terrific game. 32 yards on this touchdown pass to David Boston. Third straight game for Germain, over 300 yards. No quarterback at Ohio State has ever done that.
And Joe Germain is putting up Heisman numbers, but he plays on such a great team, he's kind of overshadowed. This offense gained over 500 yards 6 times this year. The defense has only given up 6 touchdowns in 7 games.
And David Boston, 8 receptions, 171 yards, and a couple of records at Ohio State as well.
Yeah, past Chris Carter today as the all-time touchdown receptions and also yards, receiving games of over 100 yards. So a huge year so far for David Boston.
Remember Missouri-Nebraska last year? Matt Davis in the touchdown catch on the final play to force overtime. Not this time. The count. Monte Cristo in with a touchdown run to win the game, 20-13, closer than a lot of people would think. But Monte Cristo with a couple of touchdown runs there. Texas Tech and Texas A&M in a battle. Some of you are watching this game. 14-10 is the score at halftime. Ricky Williams does have a touchdown run. Miami against West Virginia. Edgerrin James has a couple of touchdown runs for Miami, but Mark Bolger also having a great day. 200 yards passing. They lead 21-17. NC State and Virginia. NC State, you know, they knocked off Florida State this year. Virginia coming off the loss to Georgia Tech. NC State with a 13-9 lead. Jamie Barnett, NC State's all-time yardage leader now. Notre Dame and Army all tied up at 17 apiece. Army's Craig Stucker, a 19-yard touchdown run, ties the game at 17. Oregon State and Washington. Brock Huard back in at quarterback after missing a couple of games. He has 3 touchdown passes, 21-7. And Drew Brees, 3 touchdown passes. You look for the offense from Purdue, 42-9. They knock off the Illini. Stick around. More of Valvoline Halftime 98 in just a moment. This is Valvoline Halftime 98. John Saunders and Todd Blackledge. One of the great stories in the SEC this year, Kentucky. 5 wins all of last year, already 5-2 this year. First time since 1984. And Tim Couch, one of the big reasons why. Strong arm, 45 yards. He hooks up with his favorite receiver, Greg Yeast. Kentucky on top 7-0, but Georgia's got a pretty good quarterback as well.
Yeah, Quincy Carter says, hey, Tim Couch, I can throw touchdown passes too. 34 yards on this one to Tony Small for the Bulldogs.
Kentucky beat LSU last week with a last-second field goal. Trying it this time, but Matt Mumme mishandles the snap on the 49-yard attempt. Georgia gets the ball. As a result, they get the victory, 28-26, in a great matchup of quarterbacks.
Now, most impressive number there for Quincy Carter, 114 yards on the ground, a runner and a thrower. Tim Couch, he does it strictly by the air. You can see great numbers, 34, 46, 326 yards, but also the 2 interceptions.
And we are seeing some very exciting football in Kentucky.
Well, Hal Mumme is a real freewheeler. I mean, he's the kind of guy that kind of throws caution to the wind, goes for it on 4th down. Last year against Georgia, he went for it 8 times, but today, a critical 4th and 1. They were winning 10-0 early in the game. They went for it. They didn't make it. Georgia went down 97 yards and scored to make it 10-7. In this case, you live by the sword, you die by the sword.
All right, as we mentioned, Kentucky, a great story in the SEC, a great story just throughout college football. Tulane looking to go to 6-0 for the first time since 1973. And again, their quarterback, he's got a broken left wrist. He just keeps going, though.
You mentioned the wrist. I mean, he's playing in pain, playing with the cast on his left wrist, but great numbers, 23 of 27, 320 yards. Tulane's offense very explosive.
In the Big Ten, Indiana jumped out in front of Michigan in this one, 3rd and 18 here. Tom Brady fools everyone. Hooking up with Ty Streets, 51 yards on the touchdown reception. Michigan would grab their first lead, and they would hold on for the 21-10 win.
Michigan doing it on defense. The last 3 games combined, they've only allowed 25 points. That after giving up 27.8 points per game the first 4.
Michigan State and Minnesota. This one was a close one. Billy Cockrum, 24-yard as he finds Luke Leverson for the two-point conversion was no good after this attempt, so it's 18-16. Adam Bailey from 37 yards out for the victory. Knocks it through, and Minnesota knocks off Michigan State by 1.
And breaks the streak. They had lost 17 straight to Michigan State. A big one for the Gophers.
North Carolina against Wake Forest in the ACC. Wake quarterback Brian Kuklik gets hit as he's trying to pull this one out late. Carolina's defense gets to him, and Carolina holds on for the victory. Dre Bly, by the way, becomes the ACC's career interception leader with 18. Navy and BC.
Brian Broadwater, a little razzle-dazzle. Flea flicker pass here, 47 yards to Jason Wolf for Navy. Navy would win 32-31.
In the MAC, Marshall and Ball State, Chad Pennington. He has been terrific this year as he was last year. Finds Lavorne Colclough, and Marshall rolls to the victory. Pennington, by the way, 30 of 35 for 349 yards. Next Saturday live, 3:30 Eastern in the Big Ten. Ohio State will face Indiana. In Big 12 country, Texas against Nebraska, first meeting since the '96 Big 12 championship. Remember, Texas won that one. In the Pac-10, it'll be Washington against USC. USC looking to avenge a loss last year. In the ACC, one of these games, either NC State against Clemson, Virginia against Wake Forest, or Georgia Tech against Maryland. Check local listings for the game available in your area. And tomorrow live at 3:30 Eastern Time on ABC, we'll bring you the MLS Cup 98 from Pasadena, California. DC United looking for their third consecutive championship. They'll face the Chicago Fire. Don't miss that tomorrow on ABC. And we will continue with more in just a moment here at halftime on ABC's College Football. Welcome back to your second half is straight ahead. Todd, we started talking about this during the summer, the excitement, because we knew number 1 would face number 2 at the end of this year. Guaranteed national championship game because of the Bowl Championship Series. The standings, the first standings, will be released on Monday at halftime of Monday Night Football. It starts New Year's Day. The BCS is made up of the Rose Bowl, presented by AT&T, the Nokia Sugar Bowl, the FedEx Orange Bowl, and the national championship game this year, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Each year, one of these 4 bowls will host the guaranteed national championship game. This year is the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Here's a look at who's invited to this terrific party. 6 automatic bids are the conference champions, plus 2 at-large teams chosen from either WAC, Conference USA, Notre Dame, or another qualifier. Here's the formula. Keep this in mind. Each element accounting for 25%. It's the average of the traditional polls, the 3 computer polls, the strength of schedule, and losses. Now, if this was in effect last year, we would have had number 1 against number 2. Michigan would have faced Nebraska on the field.
Yeah, and John, one important point to keep in mind about these standings, the purpose is not to determine who plays in all 4 games. The purpose of the standings is just to determine number 1 versus number 2, who will play in the national championship game, in this case, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
All right, let's have a little fun. Imagine that the season ended on this day. Here's what we would see. Now, in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, usually the Big 12 would have a tie in here, but because this year's for the national championship, that's not guaranteed unless one of the teams is 1 against 2. But today it would be Ohio State against UCLA. In the Nokia Sugar Bowl, it's the SEC champion against a team to be determined. Then you have the FedEx Orange Bowl, the ACC or the Big East champion, whichever one was not picked. It would go into the pool and be guaranteed to be part of this formula against a team to be determined. And the Rose Bowl presented by AT&T. In most years, this would be Pac-10 against the Big Ten, but because UCLA and Ohio State are 1-2, that wouldn't happen this year.
No, and because they lost both their host teams, the Rose Bowl would get the first 2 selections out of the pool of eligible teams. It's going to be very interesting to see what they're going to do. They could stick with tradition and take a team from both the Pac-10 and Big Ten, but the Rose Bowl is not obligated to take a conference runner-up or even take a conference co-champion. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens in Pasadena. The game could have a very traditional look, or it could have a completely different look with teams like the Big 12 champion or Notre Dame playing in the Rose Bowl this year.
Important thing, though, from here on in, we've got number 1 against number 2 in one of those 4 bowls. Now, for more detailed coverage of the Bowl Championship Series, log on to the official Bowl Championship Series website at ESPN.com or on America Online, keyword ABC Sports. And ABC's College Football will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
We're back at Niall Kinnick Stadium, University of Iowa in Iowa City, where the Wisconsin Badgers are leading the Hawkeyes by a score of 10-0. Keep in mind now, Wisconsin has not won a football game here in Iowa City since 1974.
They're 0-9-1. And now at halftime, my partner went down on the field.
Of ABC's college
It
football
went down on the field, and the folks here at Iowa gave my partner a Lifetime Achievement Award. And my partner was kind of playing to the crowd there, too. I mean, you know, that's my place down there on the field, and this is his up here. But he started waving, and they started hollering and jumping, and they also gave him a lifetime pass to the press box here at University of Iowa. And what that means is he can come up and eat this good food anytime he wants to.
Might come in handy.
Much deserved, partner.
Well, I like these people. They've always been very friendly and very warm when you come here. And they do serve the best press box food in America.
Amen, brother.
Always been fun to come, and here we go with the second half of play as the Badgers kick it away into the end zone. Khalil Hill takes the ball, puts it down. It'll come out for the 20, and here's Lynn Swann.
Well, thank you very much, Keith. I talked to Hayden Fry when he went in for halftime, and he said that he felt that Wisconsin was picking on the right tackle just a bit, and he's got to shore up that position and shore up the pass protection. On the other side, Barry said, we have a good rhythm working on our defense. We want to stay with it, continue the pressure. They have been doing a great job against Ron Dayne, but what they're going to do is continue with the option and try and go to a little more play action in the second half, Keith.
All right, Swanee, here comes Betts into the middle of the line, and he runs into Gallogi and Taylor and goes down hard after he picks up about 2 yards on the play.
Here's a look at the numbers through the first half. Morgan Stanley, Dean Witter first half stats. Coming up after the play. Oh.
There's a P-51 flashing overhead. The mighty Mustang. Flying all. You see a lot of those around. Really covered. Randy Ryder on the numbers. Pass complete to Yanidi. First down, Hawkeyes up at the 34-yard line.
Here are the first half numbers. It's going to be a lot of defense, not much offense. Look at the column on the right for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Not a lot of good stuff there. Time of possession at the bottom, almost 2-1 in favor of the Badgers. The thing that this doesn't show is the average drive start position. Iowa has started inside their 20-yard line every possession. Wisconsin's been out over the 35.
You're not going to make a living running inside the tackles against the Wisconsin Badgers unless you've got people equally as big and strong as they have. And Iowa does not have an offensive line that's going to root the Badgers out of their defensive hole. They're just not going to do it. And those linebackers come flying through there. And it makes it a very tough day. And the Hawkeyes' one weakness, if you're going to pick it in segments, would be probably the offensive line. Second down and 7. Reiners gets it off. Oh, he threw it hard, threw it low and hard, trying to complete it. They're going to give it to him, I think. Kevin Casper finally gets the ball, and Hayden Fry said that Casper's one of the best receivers on the team. He's a sophomore. He very seldom drops the ball.
Well, both he and Barton, the other backup on the other side, both are walk-ons, as you see Burke knocking down the quarterback just as he releases the ball. That's a good catch. But both the backup receivers are walk-ons, and both are good receiving tight end, wide receivers.
Possession players.
Possession guys, that's it.
Third down and 1. Pitch it. That's looking for the first down. So he made it. He puts it right about the 45-yard line.
Well, Keith, you know, you saw that play before where Randy Reiners takes a hit. Right at the end of the first half, he looked like he was getting a little frustrated. He took a pop. It was a good shot when he released the ball, and he just showed a little bit of frustration. He comes back here in the second half, and right away, the Wisconsin defense is going right after him. He's got to maintain his composure. He's going to get hit, just expect it, and just keep leading the ball club, Keith.
Well, he's fired up. He was trying to get the crowd to make some noise.
This is Betts. Burke again. Tom Burke had just closed off that side of the field. I mean, that's his neighborhood, and you ain't coming through it.
74.
You ought to see what Kelly Hayes is eating. Oh, my goodness.
Well, Burke was eating up the quarterback. I don't know about your spotter down there.
I was taken aback when I saw all that glorious stuff. My goodness.
That's what happens when you go down at halftime, lad. You don't get any of this good food up here.
That's what happens when you're young and supple. Reiner's getting the pressure again, and he's down in a heap. Pass is thrown low to Yamini, but it was Chris Godorsey who was all over Randy Reiner.
Here's a look at Burke, the defensive end for the Badgers. We mentioned that he was leading the Big Ten in sacks, and tackles for losses, and probably batted passes by defensive ends in the Big Ten Conference.
He'll be over there next year.
Yes, he will.
3rd and 10 for Iowa. They've hit a dead spot. Reiner's looking around. There's nobody available, and goodbye. I mean, just tackle him, boys. Don't take him apart. Kaloji was in there. Kaloji just grabbed him and sort of twisted him. And Burke was the other half of the twist.
Burke gets double teamed initially. 74 at the top of your screen. That's a tight end working on him. And also Sobieski. But he just doesn't let up. He's relentless. And he gets there and gets a piece of it.
And Iowa will punt. Waiting for it is Nick Davis. High hanger. Davis is quick. Hawks get him at the 27-yard line. 10-0. Wisconsin leading. We're in the 3rd quarter.
Next Saturday, #1 Ohio State battles Indiana, or Texas faces Nebraska, plus other regional action.
11:19 to go in the 3rd quarter. Some interesting numbers there. You can see the role that Samuel has played in the offense today.
Well, in fact, Keith, that 10 rushing attempts at Samuel is really for 82 yards. But he only has recorded 62 because of the amount of sacks. They take the sack yardage off. But he's rushed from the line of scrimmage for 82 yards.
First down for the Badgers now from the 27-yard line. Give the ball to Ron Dayne and just out behind Aaron Gibson and turn it on and see how far you go. And he goes to the 29.
Defensive leaders for the Hawkeyes. DeVries has 7 tackles and a couple of sacks.
DeVries is a very good football player. 2nd down, let's call it 7. Give him 3 on that last carry. Better part of 3 anyway. Hopkins with Samuel. And he'll turn it up to about the 34-yard line. Life in the trenches with the big uglies. Well, here's what Jared DeVries says about it.
Football is won in the trenches, I think. You know, a lot of people think it's an ugly job, but it's a lot of fun. You know, hitting somebody every play and going to war every down. And, you know, that's what I like about playing defensive line. You know, you get to decide the outcome of the game.
Now, being a quarterback, I wouldn't agree with all that stuff.
Oh, I would.
Oh, I know.
It's like playing in the bottom of the barrel and rolling downhill.
Playing in the mud, yeah.
Here goes Dayne. There's the first down and 4 more. So move it out across the 40 and move the chains. Notre Dame to a 20-17 lead over Army on Sansom's 48-yard field goal.
Well, Gibson gets the best of DeVries this time. Watch 94. He's going to get turned, and that's 370 pounds laying on him right there. That doesn't mean that DeVries got beat on the play. That may have been his responsibility, that inside gap, to allow the linebacker to make the play outside of it.
Yeah, if you can take Gibson out of the play, you've contributed something, haven't you? Get him occupied. Just keeping it simple. They lead 10-0. Iowa has shown no indication that they're going to be an offensive threat unless they get a big break in the ball. Like an interception or a punt block or something, because the Hawkeyes' offensive front just hasn't been able to open the door for their people. The ball is resting just beyond the 44-yard line. We're at 2nd down and 7. The temperature today has been in the mid-60s. Very comfortable. Ohio State has won today. Michigan has won today. Purdue has won today in Big Ten play. Not Samuel. And ball comes loose. And a fight for it. Aaron Gibson, I think, recovered it. But it was DeVries in there one more time.
There you go, 94 DeVries on Gibson. This time DeVries starts to the outside, and just because he's relentless, Samuel had a guy coming open across the field, but it took so long for him to get there that DeVries just kept coming and knocked the ball loose.
And Gibson recovered it. But there's a loss back to the 35-yard line where it's 3rd down and 16.
If Gibson recovered it, they had to get a new football. If he fell on it.
Ron Dayne runs it out to the 42-yard line. 7-yard pickup on that play. But it's going to bring in the front team for Wisconsin. So again, the Iowa defense does a good job and gets a hand from the home folks.
Well, Khalil Hill, the guy that's back in punt return for Iowa, has run 2 punts back and 1 kickoff back for touchdowns. So this may be the best Iowa has the chance to score today.
Well, Stimpke is not going to give you much of a shot at it because, oh, look at this. He hits a 3-iron and stiffed. He nailed that punt and knocked it stone dead at the 2-yard line. A 56-yard punt, and he screwed it right in the ground at the 2-yard line. Wow. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by the Ford Motor Company. Better ideas driven by you. Sears and the Sears National Champion College Football Trophy. Morgan Stanley Bean Witter. We measure success one investor at a time. And Chili's, a proud sponsor of ABC's college football.
No.
Shadow's getting kind of long now, and it's been a long day for the Iowa offense. They just haven't been able to get uncracked at all. They have the football just between the 2 and the 3-yard hash marks.
Yeah.
The deep backs are lined up in the end zone. And they'll give it to the up man, the fullback, Rob Tyne, and he'll wiggle for a couple of yards up to about the 4.
Keith, we mentioned that this Badger special teams has improved. In fact, Barry said it's the best he's had in 9 years. Let me give you the starting position for Iowa. They've had the ball 8 possessions. 3 of them have been inside the 10-yard line. 4 have been inside the 20, and only once did they get out to as far as the 30-yard line. Their average field position is the 16-yard line. Now that's tough when you have a great defense like Wisconsin does. Tough for Iowa to get anything done offensively.
Badgers continuing to put 4 down, and now they bring them up on the corner. And the pressure's on, and that's 2. Donnell Thompson, the ball comes loose. And let's see what they decide. Is it touchdown or is it safety? It's safety. Tom Burke and Donnell Thompson were the wreckers on that play. Big old 74 and 44.
74 right there in the center of your screen. Just does a wheel, reverse pivots. Now he uses his speed. Thompson, 44, the linebacker gets there first. The ball is loose, and because they do not recover the ball in the end zone, it's a safety. You got to get rid of the ball. You've got to throw the football and get rid of it.
Now the ball at this point is rolling around in the end zone, and before they recovered it, they slid out of bounds.
Yeah, he was out of bounds when he recovered it.
So it's a 2-point, and it's now 12-0, Wisconsin.
Again, the defense for Barry setting up another score, or actually getting 2 points.
Yeah, the defense, they'd be throwing all the way home like that.
Well, we mentioned early on that defense is the #1 defense in the nation against the run, and the 4th best against scoring defense.
The Badgers have Minnesota next at Camp Randall Stadium. Minnesota won today over Michigan State by a score of 19-18.
Actually, they're off next week before they have to play that. And then the final 2 games against Michigan and Penn State, they have to go over to Michigan. And they have the Nittany Lions at home.
That game with Penn State has some echoes to it, doesn't it?
They can get by Michigan. Of course, they don't play Michigan State. And as you mentioned, they do not play Ohio State. So that they could have 2 undefeated teams in the Big Ten. And there's a look at McCann. Looks like he may be going in on this series.
Kicks in the air, short one. Davis. Got some daylight. And brings it all the way back down inside the 25-yard line, and there's a penalty flag that's liable to take away more Iowa real estate.
We talked about the special teams. In August, Barry was looking for a return guy, and Davis is a true freshman. And he walked up to Davis and he says, "Can you catch a ball? Can you catch a punt?" And he says, "Coach, I can catch a BB in the dark." Barry gave him a chance, and he's been doing it all season long. He had a punt return for a touchdown earlier.
5-yard face mask on the kicking team. 5 yards from the end of the run. First down.
It's a 50-yard return plus the 5-yard face mask. After the safety, they kicked the ball from the 20-yard line. It wasn't very deep. It was Thigpen that committed the foul. And here's Wisconsin sitting down on the Iowa 21-yard line. First down.
First time we've seen Wisconsin this year, Keith, and my impression is solid, sound, mistake-free, no mistakes. They don't hurt themselves. They're not pretty on offense, but they'll maul you to death and they'll wear you down.
He could get the door slammer right here. And Dayne up the middle. And Dayne was caught around the ankles by Eric Thigpen as he went by. 3:30 Eastern on ABC Sports. The MLS Cup 98 out of Pasadena, the Rose Bowl. That's the Major League Soccer season coming to an end with 2-time defending MLS Cup champion DC United against the Chicago Fire. That's tomorrow on ABC at 3:30 Eastern time. Ball is on the 12-yard line where it is second down and 2 for the Badgers. Dayne. Well, if he goes ahead, and he's got his first down, I think, on that carry, then he goes ahead and scores a touchdown. He will become the all-time leader in career touchdowns at Wisconsin.
He is a workhorse. I mean, they just keep giving him the ball and handing it to him.
Ball ain't heavy. He don't belong to no union.
Ball's not heavy.
9-yard line, first and goal.
I'm going to miss you next year, Hoss.
At it again. Here he goes. Started on the side where it gets some legs and then cuts it back inside of him and goes down to the 5-yard line before Ryan Lofton can wrestle him down.
Well, Keith, you're talking about Ron Dayne and the fact that he carries the ball a lot. Keep in mind, last week he gained 190 yards against Illinois, and guess what? The longest run was only 13 yards. He is all power. He is all strength. He just bowls you over. There's nothing fancy about what he does. And I'm sure most people watching there have probably seen him play, but this kind of game is just his style. Keith?
Defensive backs and linebackers are hitting him and falling off. They have fall off on him.
Going outside, and they finally get him. Hawkeyes got in. Matt Hughes came across and put the sealer on him with Ed Sadat, the one who had his legs, and Hughes came and finished him. He had, going into that, he has 28 carries now, 102 yards and a touchdown. This is the 21st 100-yard game of his career, and he's a junior. If he chooses to stay one more year, there's hardly any question of what he could become the all-timer. Third down. Samuel keeps it. And the Hawkeyes get him, and guess who? Yep, 94.
Watch this spin move by Jared DeVries, 94. Gibson blocks down from the tight end position. And DeVries, a defensive tackle, does a nice job of feeling the pressure of a down block and spinning out of it and making the play.
By down block, folks, he means that Gibson stands up and then collapses like a building on top of you. You're done for the play. I mean, when he puts a down block on you, you're gone. 21-yard field goal try for Matt Davenport now. And Matt knocks it up into the screen, and it's good. So at 3:34 to go in the third quarter, Wisconsin increases its lead to 15-0.
Jared DeVries is not just a good athlete in terms of what he does on the field, but he is a student of the game. He said when he got in this ball game, he noticed that Aaron Gibson's footwork wasn't quite good coming backwards in the other direction, so he's going to give him misdirection. So he does that. He told us about the spin move. He makes a great spin move to get the outside. Matter of fact, he said, Aaron's so big, I might have to spin twice just to get around him, Keith.
Well, a couple of times I think he has. But you know what? That guy Burke on the other side wearing the white ain't bad either. Ooh. Two real good defensive football players. High hanging kick at the 1-yard line for Hill. There is no daylight. It's like running into the storm cellar and having the wind blow the door shut.
What was that?
Tonight at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on ABC Sports, a star-studded skating spectacular when we bring you the U.S. Pro Figure Skating Classic from San Jose, California. Among those participating, world and 5-time U.S. champion Todd Eldridge and Olympic gold medalist Ilya Kulik. And we get the new quarterback now for the Iowa Hawkeyes. It will be Kyle McCann. Kyle McCann stepped in and was the starter when Randy Reiners was hurt in the opening game of the season. Tall, rangy lad who's got good arm whip, and he completes that pass to Hill up at the 25-yard line. So they're to pick up, give him 4 yards on the play. McCann is 6'5", 190-pound freshman out of Preston, Iowa.
In fact, he started the 4 games, Keith, while Reiners was out with the injuries. Completed 55% of his passes, averaging 175 yards a game in those games that he played. So he's had some experience. Redshirt freshman.
Second down and 6. He's taller. He can see a little better. He picks his way through the traffic and will pick up about 2 yards on the play, and we'll pick our way to New York City. And John.
That's for the Burger King play of the day. UCLA against Cal, and Cade McNown. This is just a great catch by Brian Pauly Dixon. Has to dive to get his fingertips on it. Touchdown, his second of the day. 21-9, UCLA has the lead. Meanwhile, Army, a valiant effort today against the Irish, but they lose by a field goal. Keith.
Thank you, John. You got a cold? Sounds like it. They're working you too hard. Third down and 4. Good play action. McCann gets the ball away, and Hill coming back for it. They're going to give him a catch at the 35-yard line. So all of a sudden, McCann comes into the ball game, and Khalil Hill shows a little more verve.
Well, on the play before, they did a little out and up, and the defensive back, Fletcher, on that side, covered him well. This time, Fletcher has covered him pretty well again, but they throw the ball in front of him and pick up the first down.
Well, he went and made the play that time. Chris Godorsey, meantime, put McCann on his back with a rush just as he threw the ball. That snap goes right past him, and Wisconsin recovers it. Big number 78, Ross Koloji, came through there and got the ball. The ball was snapped into shotgun formation, went right by Kyle McCann, and he had his hands on it for a moment, couldn't hold it, and it's a turnover.
Watch the snap. It's going to be low and hard.
Derrick Rose, the center.
Never got up.
Koloji came in with all of that size of his, 6'3", 275. He's going to win that wrestling match.
Well, the defense of the Badgers has set the tone here in the second half. They got the safety in the end zone down here to our left, and then when they got back on the field. They also took the ball away again. It's
well, they were second in the nation in takeaways, right?
Yeah.
Coming in. Well, that's pretty good stuff right there by number 99, Anthony Herron, making a play for Iowa. 15-0, Wisconsin is leading, and we're winding down toward the end of the third quarter. Ball is at the 24-yard line. It'll be first down and second down at about 14, close to 15.
Down 15.
Call it 15.
From the 24.
Dayne. Inside the 15, down to the 14-yard line. So they'll be looking at third now and about 3.5, 4.
It's too bad that we're not going to get to see Wisconsin play Ohio State, Keith, because this is the best team I've seen in the Big Ten this year, other than Ohio State.
Yeah, I've had the feeling all along. I know that there are detractors who say, well, they haven't played anybody. They haven't played the winning teams and this and that.
It's not their fault that the easier part of their Big Ten schedule is at the beginning of the season.
This is Samuel breaking free, touchdown. So Samuel running the option, finds enough room, breaks a couple of tackles, and sticks it in the end zone. Well, the Wisconsin opposition coming into this ball game was 15-32 on the year.
Everybody on the Hawkeyes runs to the outside, and Dayne, and Samuel sees it, doesn't pitch the ball to Dayne, but cuts back to the inside. Everybody was worrying about Dayne on the outside.
Samuel's having himself a big day.
Yes, he is.
Davenport's point is good. So the punctuation makes it a 22-0 ball game. Wisconsin leading over Iowa.
Five starters returned this year in that offensive line. Last year they were very young. This year they have a lot of starters with a lot of experience. I mentioned they have 9 starters back on that offense.
Nine starters, Bob, but eventually, even with a great running back like Ron Dayne and a great offensive line, your quarterback has got to make a play. He's just got to make a play, whether it's third and long, whether it's a critical situation, whether they're stacking the defense against Dayne, he's got to make some run to relieve the pressure. He has just got to step up, and that's exactly what Mike Samuel has done today. Iowa's defense got an extra man in the box and has been superb against Dayne, but the critical key player so far in this ballgame for their offense is what Mike Samuel has been able to do at key moments, Keith.
Yep, well, he's been there and done that now for 3 years. And he's quarterbacking an undefeated football team. That kick goes beyond the field of play. Hill watches it sail over his head. And Iowa now will come out again, I presume, with Kyle McCann at quarterback.
Kosinski's kick into the end zone.
We'll see where we go from there, because the Badgers, just he's coming out, they pummeled him some. And that slow snap from center got away from him, and the turnover resulted in 7 points for Wisconsin. Into the line goes Liddell Betts, who's been very quiet today, and he'll pick up a yard or so, maybe 2, and that's the end of the third quarter. So after 3, it's Wisconsin 22, Iowa nothing. Back after this message and a word from our ABC station.
This is ABC Sports, home of the Bowl Championship Series.
Well, the final quarter is coming, and a bunch of young folks, I presume that they've had their flu shots, having a good time. And it's Iowa ball, first down at their own 22-yard line. And Kyle McCann is in there at quarterback. And he's decked by Tom Burke.
That's the 6th sack on the day, and only the second by 5 different sacks. Burke now gets his 2nd sack. They're double teaming him. He just keeps going and going. Quarterback's got to get rid of the ball by this time. McCann's got to throw the football, or he's get out of the pocket, one or the other.
Well, he might get damaged if he stands in there like that.
Well, the point is there's coverage downfield. The receivers are not get open. Hill and Yamini, the 2 young receivers, can't get open.
3rd and 16. And what do they do? Burn the clock? Yep. Burn the play clock.
Delay game on the offense. And then it's 3rd down.
It's not unusual in college football that right after a sack, especially a redshirt freshman, quarterback gets sacked. He's a little disoriented. He comes up the line of scrimmage after wasting too much time, doesn't look at the clock, and burns the 25-second clock.
And Bob got a sea of red behind him. Wisconsin fans have really turned up the volume, so I think that also causes him a little problem.
And he called timeout.
Probably not used to that in his own stadium.
Well, the best way to stop it is to come up and first sound go. And instead he called time. The Iowa Hawkeyes befuddled and abused at this particular moment, trailing by a score of 22-0 in the final quarter of play, and looking at 3rd down and 21 with the ball on their own 9-yard line. And Kyle McCann, the redshirt freshman, on in relief of Randy Reiners at quarterback. McCann gets out of the pocket a little bit. Kills can't find anybody to throw the ball to. Now throws high, and the ball is batted away on the sidelines, intended for Khalil Hill. There were only 2 receivers out, and they were both well covered.
Good point. And Khalil Hill, who is a redshirt freshman, just left himself covered. He was running straight up the field. The quarterback was rolling out. He didn't stop and come back soon enough. It's just inexperience on the wide receivers, on the part of the wide receivers. They lost a couple pretty good ones. Tim Dwight and Gibson, both pretty good wide receivers.
This is the 8th game of the season.
Yeah, but these guys still aren't catching on.
Nick Davis fumbled it and covers it down around the 45-yard line. So Wisconsin once again is going to start a possession on the Iowa side of the field.
Mike Samuel, they said coming in that we're not going to ask Mike Samuel to do anything that he's uncomfortable with. He can't do. We're going to work on his strengths, do the things that he does best, and that is put in more running plays, more options, and take some of the burden of throwing the ball in the pocket off of Mike Samuel. And it's been very successful this year and today.
Ron Dayne runs up the middle, and he goes for 5 yards. From the 45 to the 40. And underneath all of that massive humanity was Matt Hughes. And Matt is getting up very gingerly. And we've got a timeout for him. There must have been 1,500 pounds on top of him. And he's got the wobbles as he gets up. And this is a tough guy. College football next Saturday on ABC. Ohio State's at Indiana. Texas at Nebraska. Washington, USC out on the West Coast. ACC, Virginia, Wake Forest, NC State, Clemson, or Georgia Tech, Maryland. Check your local listings for the game in your area, or call your cable or satellite company, where you can talk to their answering machine. Travis Setters, number 51. Ball game now for the Hawkeyes.
Here's a look at the remaining schedule for the Badgers. They're off next week. And they're home against Minnesota. They go to Michigan. My partner over here is cracking up.
I need some popcorn.
The last 2 games of the year will be big time for Barry Alvarez.
Jerry Montgomery, number 91, has been in and out of the ball game occasionally today for the University of Iowa. He's a true freshman, 6'3", 290 pounds. He is from Mesquite, Nevada, which is in the Las Vegas area of southern Nevada. Penalty flags all over the field. Well, a summer ago, Hayden Fry was out in Las Vegas playing golf, some tournament. His caddy was just a great big old strapping kid. I mean, he was a mountain of a youngster. And he's carrying the bag as if it were a twig. And they're bopping around the golf course, and Hayden's talking to him because he is big, you know. And I mean, a football coach looking at a 6'3", 290-pounder is going to be interested, right? Well, lo and behold, the caddy was Jerry Montgomery. And he's down on the field now wearing the colors of the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Freshman defensive lineman.
Freshman defensive lineman. Yep. There was some acquaintance, however, with between Montgomery and Iowa because of Nick Bell, who also came out of the Las Vegas area. But that's some story to have. Here he goes into the ball game right now, number 91, trotting onto the field, and joins the huddle. So he has become quite a story. And recruited while caddying for the coach. It'll be 2nd down 11. The ball is on the 34-yard line. Samuel has not thrown a pass in this second half of play. He hasn't needed to. The defense is giving the offense the ball, and here goes Dayne up the middle. Now you see the difference between Ron Dayne and other running backs. Ain't no jukes in him. I mean, he understands north and south. This east-west stuff, it doesn't mean a thing to it.
Watch the offensive line as they block back this way, and these 2 linemen, there's going to be a ridge in here, and the fullback Martin is going to come through, and the tailback is just going to say, hey, this is gravy. I've got nobody to touch me until I get 15 yards downfield. Cecil Martin, number 37. A 4-year starter and a 2-time winner of the AFCA, the American Football Coaches Association Good Works Award for community service in the Madison, Wisconsin area.
Well, he runs into Bowen and Thigpen, the 2 safeties, and just almost split them. And they just keep on pounding as Dayne rolls up the totals now with Cecil Martin, the blocking back. Cecil's not a gimme either. He's 6'2", 235. And as of this afternoon, Ron Dayne has become number 4 on the all-time career rushing leaders in the Big Ten. You can see Archie Griffin is still at the top with Thompson of Indiana 2nd, Lorenzo White, Michigan State 3rd, and now Ron Dayne. 2nd down, long one. On the 9-yard line of Iowa, Dayne searching for some daylight, finds enough, and makes it 1st and goal, Wisconsin, just inside the Iowa 5-yard line.
This is, you know, we talk about his vision, Keith, and his feet. Watch when he starts this play, he's going to come this way, and watch as he's going to jump to the other side. We say he's patient. He doesn't rush it. He sees it to the left side, and then he jumps back over the center. He's got vision, and he's got the feet enough to bounce over, sees that hole to the right side. I mean, that's amazing for a guy 260. And he's light on his feet.
Ball is just inside the 5. The old door slammer is getting close. Dayne again. Hawkeyes gang up on him and take him down at the 5-yard line.
Well, Bob and Keith, I too am impressed with Ron Dayne, the way he just takes on people, his excellent footwork, his size, his speed. But you know what? When he plays on Sunday, he will be a fullback. So I hope he's learning how to block somewhere along the way. You know, the NFL, the boys are a little bigger and a little stronger. So when he goes up to that level, I think he's just got to be a fullback, and he's going to have to learn how to block. But he'll be a good blocking and running, or should be a good blocking and running back for some team.
Blocking is more than you have to have a commitment. Pass to the corner of the end zone, and it's incomplete. If you're not convinced that is your fort, and you're not convinced that's the only way you're going to stay there and make those big bucks, if you're not committed, you won't last. Because you do take abuse. When those NFL-sized linebackers start running into you, it's like falling down in a house, in a room full of church bells.
Everything speeds up.
5-yard line. 3rd down and goal. Samuel collared behind the line of scrimmage and brought down by Ryan Lofton. So the Iowa defense holds its neck, gets its hackles up, and stops them.
Mike Samuel is not flashy and outstanding. He's just efficient. He doesn't run the option as well as a lot of other option quarterbacks that you'll see in the country. But he's been around. He doesn't make mistakes.
Pat Davenport now will try the field goal. It'll be 26 yards, and the holder is Tim Rosga, younger brother of the Rosga who played at Colorado. Kick is away, and the kick is good. So it's now 25-0. The Badgers over the Hawkeyes with 8 minutes and 57 seconds to play in the game. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by the all-new Grand Am with solid form design. It's excitement well built from Pontiac. Marriott Hotels, Resorts and Suites. We believe when you're comfortable, you can do anything. America Online. So easy to use. No wonder it's #1. And Valvoline. You can always tell the guys who use Valvoline. Beautiful countryside this time of the year, isn't it? Farmers are still struggling, but when you come over here and you fly over this land and you drive across this land, you know it's land that is loved. The people really take care of it. Ball is on the 35 now for Wisconsin's kickoff. A little bit of a surprise going on. I think it's in Morgantown. I'm sure it is. Miami 27, West Virginia 24 now in the 3rd quarter.
Whoa.
Here comes Hill. And he gets it up over the 30 out to the 31-yard line. The Home Depot coaches fact. Take a look at it. Most wins among the active Division I coaches: Joe Paterno, Bobby Bowden, Lavelle Edwards, and Hayden Fry. Hayden had this comment, realizing he's now #4.
Because I think Paterno and Bowden and Lavelle Edwards and myself are the only 4 over 65 still coaching Division I football. Which means we've been shot at and hit more than most folks.
Well, I reckon that's probably true, especially right now with the fortunes down a bit in Iowa. McCann lets it go, and the ball looked like it was either rolled out of his hands or else it was tipped. He was pumping it, trying to go deep, but there wasn't anybody to go to anyway. And he had Tom Burke coming at him like a fallen tree.
You know, we talked to Hayden about his retirement and things like that, and I think he's maybe looking at this right here, Keith. The big-time, all-time coaching wins. Woody Hayes with 152 and Bo Schemblecker 143. Hayden's about within striking reach of a couple of those guys, you would think, if he stayed around a few more years.
Well, after this play, we'll give you his comments. McCann's pass is good. Up across the 40, and you can move the chains, and here's what Hayden told us yesterday about retirement.
What I really plan on doing when I do retire, and I don't know when that's going to be, I'm going to do it as quietly and as quickly as possible, and hopefully have an impact on the administration and the athletic director by making recommendations on who should take my place, I personally would prefer someone with an Iowa background that knows the program, has an idea of the blood and sweat we've gone through to build this sucker, so that and keep it going.
Yep, he's worked hard at it, no doubt about it. 20 seasons. First down, just outside the 40. McCann's pass is completed to Yamini, and he's going to pick up the better part of 8 yards on the play. Well, I found out the hard way that if you plan to retire quietly, you better not tell anybody. Just leave.
Well,
slam the door firmly and get out of town before the sheriff comes.
Yeah, but they ain't going to let you get out of town.
Anyhow.
They're not going to let you or Hayden Fry, as much as you two guys have done for college football, go quietly into the dark.
We're going to the dark. We're going to go sit on the porch. Watch the trucks.
If you keep eating that popcorn down there, Hoss, you're going to choke, and I'm going to have to do the rest of the broadcast.
Liddell Betts running hard, pounding his way in there.
Keith, what's made the Jared DeVries and the Aaron Gibson matchup so compelling is they're two of the best in the country going against each other. But on the other side, Tom Burke, 74, he has been having a phenomenal day here against Iowa, inflicting a lot of damage in the backfield and on the quarterback. But keep in mind that Iowa has a couple of guys he's been going against, 2 freshmen at right tackle and a junior that he's been making pretty good money on, Keith.
Yeah, he's educating them, baptizing them. First down, ball is at the 45-yard line of Wisconsin. McCann puts it in the air, a lot of air under it. Too much, as a matter of fact. Hill can't get to it. Jamar Fletcher, number 2, is covering on the play as we look at big old Tom. I'll say one thing, Bob. These freshmen...
would you stop slapping your lips? Get that popcorn off there. Get yourself a drink of water before you start talking.
Those cornerbacks for Wisconsin have played very well.
They have. Well, they have. I'll talk a little bit before you get some water. But there's a lot of potential with these 2 wide receivers, Khalil Hill and Yamini. But when you say potential, that's exactly what it is. They haven't done it yet. They haven't proved themselves.
But they're also out there against those freshman, redshirt freshman quarterbacks. The cornerbacks have handled it so far.
Yes, they have. Eccles and Fletcher, the 2 corners, the 2 redshirt corners, 3 redshirt freshmen.
The 25-second clock all over the stadium. All 4 of them say 0.
Prior to the snap, delay a game on the offense. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
And it's second down and 15. At the conclusion of the game, we'll select the Chevrolet most valuable player from each team. In recognition of these athletes, Chevrolet will make a contribution to each of the schools' general scholarship fund. They've been going on for better than a quarter of a century now. Second down and 15. McCann keeps on. Down he goes. And guess who it is? I don't even have to tell you. It's Burke.
That's his 14th sack of the season. And I knew coming in that, and I know Hayden was probably concerned about it, with his offensive line, the 2 tackles are the youngest players on that offensive line. And the strength of the Wisconsin defensive line are the 2 ends, Burke and Favre. And they've taken advantage of that mismatch today.
Third down and 19. Reed pass. Burke coming. Runs away from him. Throws the ball. And glory be, he completed it. At the 40-yard line to Khalil Hill. Running for his life, and he throws a bullet. It works. And it'll be 4th down and about 4.5 yards.
Pressure on the right side by Burke, and he just avoids it.
And Lightfoot.
Anytime you have a redshirt freshman quarterback, it takes time for them. They just need playing time. They need experience. They need to get in there and make mistakes.
And Wendell Bryant, he's economy size too, isn't he? Oh, they got some big people. Oh, he tripped coming off the snap. Probably the offensive lineman stepping back for the block may have tripped him. So Wisconsin will take over.
The easiest sack that Burke will ever get. I guess he gets credit because he got there quick.
And he touched him.
He was the first one to touch him.
Yeah. See, Tom knows that. He knows where credit is. He just slapped him on the butt and got credit for a sack. Well, I'm happy to be an honorary cheesehead.
Yeah, I
like
am
the folks
too.
in Wisconsin a lot.
Wait, well, look, who are those cheeseheads up there? Aren't you missing somebody? Where's my hat?
That a boss wanted. Give it to him.
Yeah.
Where's that sign? I want to go talk to those people.
It's getting cold. Why don't you wait till next summer? Sure. The question about upsets you had, Mr. Greasy?
Yes, sir.
Well, it's 11:43 to play in the fourth quarter, and it's UCLA 28, California 16. They just scored it.
So there were really no major upsets today.
Not yet.
You know,
Got one down in Atlanta tonight that might be kind of interesting.
yeah, that'll be a big one, won't it?
Texas Tech hanging on to Texas A&M's coattail, 17-10, A&M leading.
George O'Leary's doing a nice job at Georgia Tech, hasn't he? He's come in there and rebuilt that program.
Yep.
That'll be a good ball game.
Tulane continues undefeated, so Perry resigns and Tommy's winning them all. In case you missed it, Nebraska beat Missouri 20-13. Georgia beat Kentucky by 2 points. 28-24. Dayne gets outside on the option.
Well, one of the things we asked when we started the day was, you know, how good is Wisconsin? They haven't played anybody, and here's a look at the strength of schedule of the top 8 teams in the nation. The top 7 opponents' records are there, and then take a look at Wisconsin. 18-36, their opponents. They have not played an opponent, including today, with a winning record all year, and I think, Keith, when you get down to the bottom line, if they keep winning and the other teams lose and they move up, that'll have a negative impact. Now, they can't do anything about the conference games, but they can do something about the non-conference games. And they played, who'd they play? They played San Diego State, and they played Ohio, and they played UNLV. And all of the Big Ten teams they've played so far have had losing records. The bump in the road, the 2 bumps, come at Michigan and then at home against Penn State. They don't play Ohio State, as we mentioned. And this team, I asked Barry, I said, how good is this team? He says, I don't know. He says, but we'll find out. And he knows they've played he knows who they've played, and that at the end of the season, they're going to play their toughest games. But, you know, if you're going to do it one way or the other, it's better to do it this way because you get your team going, you get the train rolling, and be ready by the end of the year.
Eddie Faulkner now with clean britches is in the ball game. And for his second carry of the day, picks his way along the picket fence and almost picks up a first down. So Ron Dayne now has gone to the bench. Not bad, big guy. There are his totals for the day. There's Iowa's totals for the day. He gained 164 yards on the ground. The Hawkeyes 31 collectively. He carried the ball for 39 rushes, and Iowa's only run it 30 times.
This team has the personality of their coach. You know, he says, this is who I am. This is the way I want to run my team. He was a linebacker. He came from Pennsylvania, the coal mines, his family. This is the way he wants to run his program, and it's tough to win against a good ground game and a good defensive team and good special teams.
You don't think that Barry Alvarez doesn't know something about marketing? Ron Dayne goes to the bench and probably won't come back as we go inside 3 minutes to play in the game with 998 yards for the season.
No, now come on, Hoss.
So now all the boys can write stories and talk about it and everything for the home game where he'll go for 1,000.
Yeah.
That's marketing. That's good stuff. Burke has 14 sacks. If Burke stays in here and gets one more sack, then he will go past the single season record that he now shares with Tariq Saleh. This is Faulkner bouncing outside, and Ed's going to be just a little bit short of the first down. And more Sunday Night Live at 8:15 on ESPN. Sunday Night Football, Doug Flutie of the Buffalo Bills and the Carolina Panthers. Monday night on ABC Sports out in Kansas City's Arrowhead. The Pittsburgh Steelers wobbling a bit at the halfway point of the season, and they're against the Kansas City Chiefs. I still don't understand how in the world Kansas City got whipped up in New England like they did. They did.
New England can be pretty tough at times.
They get it going on you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're kind of up and down at times, too.
On third and short, Faulkner. First down for Wisconsin near the Iowa 12-yard line. And we're coming up on 2 minutes. If time permits, stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report featuring scores and highlights from across.
Eric Thigpen, the safety for Iowa, has 19 tackles on the day.
But you know what? He's a safety. That's bad news.
That's right.
I mean, there's a lot of folks running around out there in the pastures that must be in his territory. Faulkner wiggles around a little bit and curls it back inside for a yard or so. And we're at a minute and a half. It has not been a terribly artistic support. I'm looking for the credits. I want to tell everybody who was here. Long day, long season. Hayden, noble old warrior. I'll never doubt it.
So there were no big upsets today, so nobody's going to be moving up in the standings or up and down in the standings or anything like that.
Faulkner dives. Not quite.
Almost.
Aggies beat Texas Tech 17-10. That's the final. Coordinating producer of ABC's college football is Tony Tortorisi. Today's game produced by Jay Rothman, directed by Chip Dean. Our technical director, Jeff Suarez. Associate producer Margaret Schaefer, Associate Director Derek Mobley, assistants to the producer Chapman Downs, Prabin Martin, our statistician Mark Amento, our spotter Kelly Hayes, our production manager Amy Hussey, our technical operations manager Jay Gleason, our computer stats Craig Rothberg.
Good job, guys.
There's your touchdown. And the Red Clad Badger fans down in the end zone let out a shout. They've all stayed, and a good many of the Hawkeye faithful are finding their way toward home. Toward the hearth. As the clouds come in, they're talking about a little bit of rain before the night is done. But not bad stuff. And so Ron Dayne has a huge day, and will go home with 998 yards. He'll do 1,000 when they play 2 weeks from today. The extra point is good.
That was no good.
No good. Well, I'm not used to him missing it. I just automatically said good. 31-0. We'll be back.
The Bowl Championship Series is online with live action, interviews, game highlights, and live polls at ESPN.com and on America Online.
The Chevrolet most valuable players of the game: Tom Burke of Wisconsin, Jared DeVries of Iowa. Big guys today. The defenders: Burke 9 tackles, 3 sacks, dominant. DeVries 10 tackles, 3 sacks. On the Iowa side, dominant. His war with big old Aaron Gibson certainly was not in DeVries' favor. It was little more than a draw. He held his own for sure against a 370-pounder. The Hawkeyes are running around chasing that thing like it's got 5 legs, and they finally get a handle on it and cover the ball. So 23 seconds. And here's 20.
Well, Keith, you know, Iowa has to develop a lot of players. And I just wanted to show you a little something. We're always talking about recruiting. Look at those numbers. Population in those particular states where you have to recruit from. The ones below Iowa are states that produce a lot of college football players. What Iowa has to do is get guys in and manufacture and develop players. They've taken guys like Jared DeVries. When he came to school here, his first year, he was 218 pounds, Keith. They got him on a great weightlifting program up to 280. So they make players so that they can compete at this particular level, and Iowa's done a tremendous job of it over the years, Keith.
Pass thrown upfield beyond the 30-yard line and completed to Khalil Hill. Wisconsin had a score of Wisconsin shut out a team in 1996. That was Stanford. The last time they shut out a conference team was Michigan State back in '83, 32-0. But the last time the Iowa Hawkeyes were shut out, Penn State did it in 1993, 31-0. And today, they're looking at the short end of a 31-0 score against Wisconsin. And Barry Alvarez, the former assistant, has beaten Hayden Fry 2 years in a row. 31-0. Well, it wasn't much of a contest. It was utterly dominated by Wisconsin. So I think you can safely believe as you go to supper tonight, the Badgers are real.